This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Annie, and I'm the first-time reader who's going through this 15-book series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Aaron Kirkwood, Andre the Man in White, and Chad Welsh. So before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Heather Truitt and Randy Newbury to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. We're really excited to have your support, and we want to thank you for your generosity. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 57 and 58, the final chapters, the final episode of The Shadow Rising.
Yeah, this is pretty huge. So chapter 57, we have a breaking in the threefold land, and chapter 58 is the traps of Rhuidean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we got a whole lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh my god, we have so much to talk about.
Stuff on top of the things to talk about, and talk about stuff that happened in the past and in the future.
Yeah, and so we thought it would be nice and super fun if we popped a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, for finishing The Shadow Rising. This is pretty huge.
Disclaimer, it's not champagne. It's sparkling wine. It's like Prosecco.
The cheap version of sparkling. It's what we have, okay?
It'll do. But I'm going to give a noise warning.
Yeah, right. Because we
had
the fiasco last time with the sake bombs.
With the sake bombs, people didn't know that we were going to bang the table.
Which is fair.
Drop the shot glass into the other glass. And so we wholeheartedly apologized to anybody we worried and surprised.
Yeah.
By not giving a proper noise disclaimer.
And injured your eardrums. I don't know how it works.
I don't know. But this is a bottle of champagne popping.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fun.
Oh yeah, it's all over the floor now. Okay.
See, floor is better than computer.
That's good.
It's like ASMR. People like that stuff.
Steven picks it up.
Yeah. There's a lot of money in ASMR. Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
And instead of shot glasses, we're drinking out of our wedding champagne flutes.
Actually.
Yes, actually.
What are you going to do? Take a shot of sparkling wine?
Yeah, or just drink it out of a coffee mug, as is classy, you know?
As is the standard in this house. Okay. Cheers to making it this far. So you suggested the champagne for tonight, and I thought, whatever. We haven't celebrated an ending of a book before.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a big deal. We made it this far. We're almost at exactly 2 years since we decided to get the podcast going.
Yeah, and we're officially a quarter of the way over that quarter way mark in the series.
That was actually pretty impressive. We have 4 books done in 2 years when it took us 10 months to do book 1.
Yeah.
So
trajectory. It's going well, actually.
It's going actually quite well.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And cheers to all of our fans listening.
Yes.
Because they're the true heroes.
Yeah, without you, we would not be doing this still.
Yeah.
It's too full.
Sounded plastic almost.
They're usually not filled to the top, though.
Well, it's how I started this podcast, and it's how I'll continue it. All right, cool. Let's say the words and record the things.
Okay, so I'm going to start us off with a fun fact, and this one's an interesting one because, usually I like to have fun facts to have some sort of relevance to the chapter.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of piece this one together because this one actually comes from Tyler. So thanks for this fun fact. And then I'll connect all the dots for you at the end of this one so you can kind of see how it relates to the chapters.
It always worries me when you have to explain yourself beforehand. I always go, oh no.
Oh, you're going to get it. You're going to get it.
What are we in for?
Everyone hold on.
All right. We're prepped. We're ready.
Okay, here we go.
Give us the facts.
Let's do it. Okay, so we got a whole lot of White Cloaks the last few chapters, and we've talked about the similarities of the White Cloaks to the Knights Templar and their founder to Martin Luther, right, to Lothar Mantelar.
Yeah.
And we've also talked about how the White Cloaks and their founding is similar to the Spanish Inquisition, or its formal name, the Tribunal of the Holy Office of the Inquisition. So I've got some not-so-fun facts for you about the Spanish Inquisition. So first one, it was originally established by 2 Catholic monarchs, and it was intended to maintain Catholicism in the two kingdoms of Aragon and Castile, but it spiraled out of control. So, it relates to the White Cloaks because they also were founded to proselytize against Dark Friends. The second fun fact is that the Roman Catholic Pope worked very closely with the two monarchs and allowed the monarchs to name inquisitors, people who are willing to enforce the Inquisition. Now, the inquisitors are likely a connection to the questioners, because inquisitors were especially seen as, excessively harsh and forceful. So that kind of lines up with questioners really nicely.
Definitely.
And the last one is that things got extremely violent and discriminatory very quickly, and many Jewish and Muslim people were either expelled from Spain or imprisoned, usually for life, or killed. And even if they converted to Christianity, they still were persecuted. So that's very similar to the White Cloaks because we've got them who have definitely strayed from their original mission, and we've seen them to murdering villages full of people and harassing and persecuting all sorts of people.
Sure.
So there you go, fun facts.
About White Cloaks, though. That has nothing to do with this chapter.
Yeah, and that's the last part of it, is that we thought it'd be best to do it on the chapters of the Rand perspectives so that nobody would expect the Spanish Inquisition.
You got me.
Yeah! I hope I got everybody. That's great. That's Tyler's Monty Python bit, so...
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, super exciting. Getting into these chapters. Last time, we had an entire sort of wrap-up in Tenchico, and we had a nice little wrap-up with Perrin getting his happy ending in the Two Rivers.
Yeah, very much so. And they have to be wrap-ups because it's the end of the book. We're done.
Yeah, except it's only medium wrap-up, which I appreciated.
Yeah, there's a continuation to come in future books.
Definitely, yes. And something I was thinking about that we never talked about, I'm still concerned for the wolf population in the Two Rivers.
Yes,
that's
because
still concerning to me.
They were missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's still something to think about. I just wanted to make note.
Okay.
So last time in the Waste was a little while ago, but we were attacked by Drakkar and Trollocs at Cold Rock's Hold.
Yep.
And we had sneaky Couladin running away in the night.
Sneaking off.
And Rand needed to get to that meeting ASAP.
Yes. So Couladin didn't cause more shenanigans.
Because that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
So we also did get a little snippet of Dream Egwene telling us that they're riding on their way.
Yes.
So, here we are, chapter 57, A Breaking in the Threefold Land. And our symbol is the Aiel shield and spears.
Yeah, that's a pretty ominous title, too, considering what happens.
Yeah, so we enter in a Rand perspective. Rand is riding along on his horse, and he notes that it's been a very long and boring journey through the Waste. We see some mountains ahead, and this is where the meeting place is.
Al-Kirdal.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And so he thinks soon there will be an ending or a beginning.
Because the ending of the book?
Or both.
Or both, yeah.
Yeah. So, the Maidens of the Spear here are acting like Rand's honor guard, which is what he calls it, not them.
Yeah, they don't call it that, but it's basically what it is.
Yeah, and so Rand is still confused by Avienda's behavior towards the Maidens and them towards her. And I personally think it has to do with the whole, bracelet thing, because she keeps hiding it from them, but she won't take it off. So
yeah,
it symbolizes that, Rand and her are, enfianced.
Yeah,
in
there's
some way.
There's definitely the business with the ivory bracelet, but there's also the whole Avienda is no longer a maiden thing.
Yeah,
so
that's
she's
difficult. Yeah.
She's struggling, and we kind of see that further along too. But
yeah, okay. So Rand recalls a conversation he had with Adeline.
Yeah, Adeline.
Okay, about why the maidens are protecting him, and turns out because Rand has no society of his own, his mother was a maiden. So that means these maidens are going to protect him.
Yeah, and we also have the whole, maidens always give up their babies.
Yes.
Right? So it's kind of now that one is returned to them, it's kind of surrogate, this is all of our child.
Okay.
So
I like that.
There's a combination going on here.
Yeah, except, there's also weird things happening, like them getting Rand shit-faced.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
On something called Usquai.
Yeah, that's whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's made of
corn.
Zemai, corn, yeah. And there's a whole bunch of things we could talk about, is it technically, it's probably whiskey. So
I'm surprised you didn't do a whiskey fun fact.
Well, yeah, to do the Spanish Inquisition. So
all right.
I'll do the whiskey fun facts later on.
Okay.
There's going to be more Usquai in our future.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So the maidens had to get Rand to bed because he was so drunk, but Aviendha did not partake in the shenanigans.
Again, she's not a maiden anymore, so she really shouldn't be.
Yeah, but she did stay with him all night while he slept.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So, back to the now time.
Yes.
Because,
all that's done.
Yeah, because Rand can't afford to wait. He is heading super quickly to Alcaradal.
Hey, you did it, yeah.
Thank you. And behind him, all the Tardad are following.
There's a lot of them. So,
not just the Nine Valleys.
Yes.
Not just the Jindo, which, I mean, still, I'm not 100% about... But there's lots of them.
Easy way to explain it. We got the Tardad overarching, and then under the Tardad are different divisions. So that those are the septs. So we've got Nine Valleys, we've got Jindo, we've got the Miata, the Four Stones, the Chumai, the Bloody Water.
Oh my, okay.
There's lots, and those are all under the Tardad, and that's important because they note that only 2/3 of the septs of the Tardad are present. So, and there's already over 15,000 Tardad. So if you got 6 listed, and that's about 2/3, there's probably another, 3 or 4 septs
there's lots
of the Tardad. Yeah, and that's just one clan, and there's 13 clans, one of those being the Gen, so there's 12 clans.
Okay.
There's a lot of Aiel out there.
A lot of Aiel.
Yep.
Okay. So Rand rides up, and in some wide hollow below, the fair is gathered on the hills around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's you got the Golden Bowl, and all the hills around, the fair is going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the hollow is where the bowl is, where everyone's going to stand to listen to the stuff happening.
And people are hanging out around that.
Around it.
So.
Okay. I have to tell you, this entire end of the book, I really had a difficult time picturing anything that actually went on.
That's fair.
And that's very typical about end of book scenes.
Yeah, it's all confusing, and it'll make sense in a few books.
Not even really, though.
Hopefully.
The Eye of the World is still
Hey,
confusing.
I got some explanations on Eye of the World's isms.
I know you know. I believe it.
And it's 4 books later. So,
I know.
give it another 4 books, you'll be right there.
Okay. It's still just the writing style. I have trouble picturing these things. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're not the only one, for sure.
Okay. So, now Rand is here, strolling in with almost an entire clan, against all custom, and the Aiel in the camps are all sort of gathering to look at the approaching Aiel group.
Yeah, but more so just at Rand, too.
Yeah.
Because they know that he's coming.
Right. So Rhuarc tells Rand that the largest camp, that one over there, that's the Shido, and Couladin has arrived and has definitely broken custom here.
Yes.
Because there's so many of them? You're not supposed to?
Couladin's also not a clan chief.
Right.
There's that whole part that's overarching in this chapter too. Couladin is not and is not going to be and was denied being able to be a clan chief, so he shouldn't be anywhere near here.
Got it. Okay. But he came anyway.
Yeah, he came and he's
he's got a plan.
Yeah, he does have it's a good plan.
I actually do like this plan of his.
It's
he makes me laugh.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good plan.
It's not terrible,
yeah.
so.
Okay, let's get to it though. So Rand takes off his shufa, and then I think this is his whole let them see I'm not like them.
Yes, I'm specifically not an Aiel like you.
Right. So then Couladin and the Shido start moving somewhere and start causing a stir.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, Rhuarc starts talking to somebody, and this is my favorite description ever of anyone ever written.
What? What is?
So this guy that Rhuarc starts talking to looks like his face was used to pound fence posts.
Oh, yeah.
I laughed out loud. That's the best description of somebody's face I've ever read.
That is good.
That is so funny. So funny. I love it. I love it so much. I want to use that in my real life. Although I've never met anyone whose face looks like...
I was going to say, it's kind of offensive.
Yeah, super offensive, but it's very descriptive. So Rhuarc asks Rand if he expected this.
Yeah, so basically what's happening is the Shido are already in Alcaradal, and now they're moving to block off Rand and crew
Oh,
from
that's
coming
what's
in.
happening. Okay.
Yeah, so they're like veiling and getting ready to, and they're outnumbered, keep in mind. But that's what's happening is they're kind of preventing Rand from moving forward.
To like entering.
To
or whatever.
enter,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's why Rand and Ruark and the Tardad do what they're going to do right away here.
And Rand's like, well, this makes sense because Couladin clearly came here to do something.
Yeah.
And it's to stop me.
Like, that's why he left in the middle of the night and is here now. Like, he's clearly planning something, so...
Yeah. And so we also get some information about how other clans are already in Al-Kerdal for a reason. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So there's camps set up all around the outside.
Yeah.
And then you go down in there to discuss your issues, basically.
Yeah, so the Golden Bowl itself is just like a big hollowed out canyon that sound can travel really well. So people can be like perched around the Golden Bowl and hear what anybody's saying who's speaking from the ledge.
Yes.
That's referenced. And then around the hills outside is where all the clans are currently camping.
Yes.
And doing their fair. And
Got
on
it.
the like outskirts is where Rand is trying to enter, but the Shadow are preventing them from going further in.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's already clans down in there because there were clans speaking of different things. Water,
Yeah.
grazing, boundaries, that sort of stuff.
Clans don't get together very often, so they're going to take this opportunity to discuss, like, border issues and water issues and
Got it.
grazing issues. So
Okay.
they're just doing their thing.
Okay. But that's why there's people already down there to hear
Yes.
what's going on up here.
Exactly.
And that's important, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we have the wise ones, Moraine, Egwene, Lan, they all come up, and Moraine asks Rand if she can be allowed to go with him. And the wise ones are like, no, that's a hard no from us.
Yeah.
Of course you can't go, stupid.
That's like village council trying to get involved in, like, women's circle business. It doesn't happen.
This is a clan chief thing, and you're not allowed to go in. And
Yeah.
if you are allowed to go in, then the chiefs are going to want to be involved in women's business, and no thank you to that.
Keep them separate, thank you very much.
Yeah. So Rand, turns out, hasn't slept very much in the last 3 days.
Yeah, okay.
Because he has suspected the wise ones
Yeah,
of
spying.
keeping watch on his dreams.
So
and
he's just, like, choosing not to sleep anymore.
Yeah, not great.
And also getting super, super wasted on whiskey.
Oh, yeah, that's
So there's that. It's good.
Yeah. So Bear tells him to be careful. A tired man makes mistakes. We cannot afford you to make any mistakes. The Aiel can't afford it.
Yes. And everything kind of depends on Rand and his super
Yeah, she
secret
doesn't want him
plans.
to destroy all the Aiel because he's tired.
Yeah.
So then we get the peddlers' wagons coming into view of the Aiel camps, and they're gonna go off and start setting up.
Yeah, and we have a song. So obviously we know who is who at the end of this.
Yes, we do.
But up until the very end of this, you didn't know who is who specifically. And I know we have a lot to talk about in that regard.
We will get there.
But we have Isandra, just to kind of point out, she's all in white right now. So it's like, again, little misdirections
I
here.
actually didn't even pick that up. Okay.
Oh yeah, she is. All decked out in white, so.
We call that a white herring?
Yeah, there you go.
Heron?
Heron, yeah.
Right? Red heron?
There you go.
Remember? Okay. Anyway, so I think I'm funny. So Egwene comes over to speak with Rand, and he hasn't given her a chance to speak since Cold Rock's Hold, and Rand doesn't even say anything because he thinks she's Aes Sedai now. Like, she might not have taken the oaths, but she's Aes Sedai, and she probably spied on me too, and I don't think I can trust her.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a bit of a development in their relationship a little bit here.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that Egwene wasn't sure if Rand would even trust her, and now we've got Rand
Not trusting her
because she's Aes Sedai now, so I can't trust her.
Yeah. Well, and fair.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair.
Yeah. So Egwene tells him not to keep to himself. He doesn't have to fight alone. And he's like, what do you mean? But then, before Egwene can answer, Moraine is like, I fight for you, as does Egwene.
Okay,
and so do all the people you don't know and who don't know you.
You're rolling your eyes and no one can see that, but... Yeah. Okay, so you don't like Moraine jumping in here, or what?
No. This wasn't her spot to jump in, but
Okay.
she, took the chance. And it's like...
Well, and there's something going on between Moraine and Egwene right now.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, because Moraine doesn't like that Egwene is training with the Wise Ones, probably so much.
Probably, and acting like she's Aes Sedai when she's not, but it's happening.
Yep.
So there's a few levels.
A lot of that. But Moraine goes on, you're in the middle of everything. If you fail, all fails. And I wrote in my notes, we get it, Mom. We've heard it before. Thanks, God.
Yeah. That is the vibe.
Like, it's not going to change anything at this point, Maureen. Like, oh, now Ron's going to be like, oh, thanks, Maureen, you're so right.
Well, she's like almost asking politely. She's like, may I be allowed to come with you?
Well, that's like her trying every tactic in the book.
Yeah. And I love the next tactic. It's like, okay, not me, but what about Lan?
Yeah.
Lan can go.
Can Lan come? But Lan doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
Lan's like, what?
It's like all these Aiel around, like on the brink of fighting.
Yeah. Ran says no. And then Ran notes that Keely and Isandre are staring each other down.
Yes.
And then Kadir and Natil are speaking to them urgently, trying to calm them down.
Which makes a lot more sense at the end of this, too.
Yeah, and Ran tells everyone to be on guard today.
Yeah. When he's looking at, the peddlers because...
Oh, because they're forsaken.
They're not who they seem.
Yeah. Okay. So, now Matt is like, hey, can I come too? And this one, Ron's like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah, he doesn't say no, so... Yeah. But this is an interesting point, because Matt flips the coin. Mm-hmm. And we've seen him flip a coin to make decisions before.
Yeah.
And it's another gold piece.
Yeah.
Is it the same piece?
I don't know. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, did Rand do the thing?
Yep, he did.
With the power?
Yeah.
Or was that like a Taviran thing going on?
No, the power.
Rand doesn't acknowledge that he did anything about the coin.
I know, that's why.
It's just Matt observing it.
Yeah, I know.
And blaming Rand.
So Matt flips a coin, it bounces off his fingers, and it lands on its edge and rolls downhill towards the wagons, and Isandre picks it up and everyone stares.
Everybody's like
staring. And then
staring.
Rand is like, you can come, Matt. And Matt's like, I wish you wouldn't do that. But then Rand isn't like, I didn't, I don't know.
Well, he doesn't confirm or deny. It's just like the question.
I think that not denying is a confirmation.
So Rand knocked the coin out of the air so that it doesn't...
Yeah. Makes it land.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, or to view. I don't care. Actually, none of this actually matters. Let's get to the good stuff. It might matter, but I don't care. Okay. So now it's time to go. The Aiel start moving, and... the pipes start playing.
The bagpipes.
And the Aiel men start singing. And they all advance towards the mountains. And I have to tell you, this whole singing and running into battle feels so awkward for me.
Really?
It was so cringy.
What? I am offended that you even used that word to describe this.
Oh, I just couldn't even stand reading it. I was like, so they're just like... singing in unison and running, like
it's literally like war chants.
I like
that's what's happening is war chants.
I like war chants better than like singing.
But that's what it is.
I know.
It's specifically the men do not sing after they get to a certain age, and they only sing in battle or for like laments for the dead.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah. I just hate the idea that they're just like singing this like song while they're running.
Okay, I'm so excited for this to be shown on the TV show. I'm so excited for this. It's great.
I really hope it's better than how I picture it.
I think it will be. I think that you just don't like the songs of anything in the book.
I don't like any songs in the book.
You don't like reading the song. Like,
no, I
get that,
never
so.
read the songs.
And that's the issue. You gotta read. You gotta read them. Oh my god. There's not even that many of them to hate.
It's like too much.
Okay. Anyway, so we're going to go with the fact that it's awesome. But just to kind of... So the Shido are blocking the path, and they're using intimidation tactics of literally going to overwhelm the Shido to
with
get
their
through.
Numbers.
Yes. Yeah, like 15, 20 times more.
Right. So we have Rand, Ruark, Matt, the Maidens, all advancing. Moraine and the Wise Ones crew are staying behind. So... Rand and Ruark come up to a delegation from the Shido, right? That have come out to meet them?
Not just the Shido. It seems like it's from a few clans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because again, the Shido are blocking, but there's clans behind too.
Right. Okay. So Ruark and some other chief have some conversation. They didn't expect this from Ruark. And we learn that the Shido have arrived just at sunrise. And then we get a list of who is here.
Yeah, so you know what's really funny is Couladin has arrived at dawn.
Yeah, so I have to tell you, right here, when I was reading, I didn't pick this up.
Okay.
I only picked it up later when he's like, who arrived at dawn today?
It was me.
Yeah. And I went, oh shit, that's his plan.
Yeah, it's like super contrived.
Like, that's when I got it.
It's not a bad plan though. Like if Rand wasn't here, if Rand had for whatever reason waited a month to come, this would have gone horribly for Rand and very, very well for Couladin.
100%.
Yeah. So like it's good. It's good that Rand came.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll get into
that
whole plan. But I have to tell you here, I didn't pick it up yet. I thought fair. Couladin was still just here to be a dick and like kill Rand.
He doesn't have some master plan.
Yeah, no way. Yeah. I did not think that.
So that was a big shocker for you.
Huge.
Awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
We can get there. So we get a tense moment about the Kara Karn being announced today. And then Matt says some old tongue stuff.
Yeah, we don't actually know. Something about luck.
Yeah. Dovnia.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's not the worst you've done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something funny. So, the Tardad columns have come up now on either side of the Shido that are blocking their path.
Yeah.
And everyone is still veiled, still singing, and the Tardad have way more numbers than the Shido.
Yeah, and this is where it's like definitively the Shido are blocking the path, but there's 15 to 20 times more Tardad than there are Shido. So it's really good that Rand came now and was able to get some people.
Some traction.
Yeah, get some people here, so let's go.
Yeah. So Rhuarc goes to lift his veil, but at this point, if there were to be a fight, there'd be so many dead, and the Tardad would essentially wipe Shido off the map. Like,
okay, hold on. Not all the Shido are here.
No, all these Shido.
All these Shido are here. This isn't like the entirety of all the Shido.
Right.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. It's just like all the ones that are here, though. But yeah, the Tardad would definitely sweep through them.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, do it.
I mean, I got some comments later on, too. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, Rhuarc goes to lift his veil, and Rand says, no, we won't fight. And Rhuarc's like, you're right. No honor to the Shido.
Yeah, it's like so insulting, too.
Rhuarc lowers his veil, and at first I thought he was lowering his veil, and he was like, you're right, no honor to the Shido, like he's gonna fight them with the veil down.
No.
But I got that,
yeah.
It's like a dishonor to not fight them. So it's an honor to fight them.
Yeah, it's like showing them no honor by not even fighting them. It's like, I'm not fighting you because you're so dishonorable.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the tactics that like weren't really tactics seem to have worked.
Intimidation is totally a tactic.
Yeah, okay.
It worked.
And just the like, I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah.
Works.
It works. It's good.
The Shido step back to make room for them to pass, because numbers. And Rand and company enter the canyon? The bowl?
Yeah, the actual Alcardal. So,
okay.
Yeah, you can like go on the ledges. There's like seating area from what it seems like.
I just can't picture this at all. And that's okay.
Okay, I was going to say, let me get the drawings out.
Yeah, so. I know. When I was originally picturing a place with wonderful acoustics,
yeah,
I think I was thinking of like a canyon all with like an amphitheater on one end.
Okay.
And so they're like down in the bowl, so the acoustics are really good, but like you have to go down and be like on a stage.
Okay.
Down in the bowl to like everyone in the bowl to hear you.
I kind of think of it like Star Wars.
Okay.
Like that big bowl, like where all the people have those little floaty areas where they sit and listen to the speakers. Mm-hmm. It's like a big place where you can all listen.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's hills around that, and it's like,
I know, but the whole like standing on the ledge thing, like I don't think it matters for us to discuss this in length anymore, but
without diagrams, it's kind of pointless.
Okay, so let's get into the stuff that like actually matters, which is like the things that are being said.
Yes.
So Savannah is on the ledge.
Yes.
Or something.
Like the speaking ledge.
Okay. Can we call it a stage?
Yeah, the stage. That works.
That's
good.
Stage. Okay.
She's on the stage.
Okay, so everyone can see her and hear her.
Yes.
And she's with 4 clan chiefs.
Yep.
And Baal.
Yep.
Who's that?
He's the tallest guy Rand has ever seen.
Yeah, okay.
Is good. He's one of the clan chiefs.
Okay.
And Rand is super tall. This guy's like 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah, this guy's a really tall guy.
Like
so based on where they are on the stage, their voices project through the bowl.
Yeah.
So we can overhear the tail end of their conversation.
Yeah, because they're on the stage.
Okay. And Now, I have to say, as a side note, I love this.
Okay.
I love
good.
the science. I love that this exists. And at the end of The Dragon Reborn, in one of the last episodes, we talked about a place called Touch the Universe.
Yeah.
At the Manitoba Museum in Winnipeg. And there's a place there where you stand on either side of the room.
Like
What's
the
it called?
exhibit hall.
The exhibit hall.
Yeah.
And there's these 2 rounded dishes. And you can stand there and you talk into this little thing facing the dish.
Yep.
And you and your friend can stand on either side and you can even whisper and you can hear so clear.
Just based on science.
Yeah.
There's no like microphones or anything.
It's so cool.
So cool.
Yeah. So that's what this reminded me of.
Yeah, it's great.
Really cool. And then I also have to say, I really appreciate the thought that went into this. Like, he doesn't have to explain the science, but he's like, it's this canyon place where when you talk, everyone can hear you.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Which I like the explanation, because in other books and shows, for example, I'm thinking specifically of one Daenerys Targaryen who stands up in an open field, basically, in front of like tens of thousands of people.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, is like, yelling to them.
It's like your voice isn't going to go
anywhere.
anywhere.
And they're all like, yeah, or whatever. And I was like,
nobody can hear that.
No one can hear you.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate this because there's an explanation behind it.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's good science in other things. Oh, we gotta get further in the series. It's good. Okay.
Okay, but that I especially appreciated.
Yeah.
Okay, so Savannah is the roof mistress of the Shidos.
Yes, because she was married to Suladric,
who was
died,
the clan.
and that's why Muradin was going into Rhuidean to become the new clan chief. And he died.
I got it.
Couladin. Okay.
And Couladin was refused. Okay.
Yeah.
So Savannah is arguing to let Couladin speak.
Yes.
And she demands it as her right as roof mistress, but the clan chiefs are like, no, you suck and we hate the dumb shadow, so get out of here.
Okay, not quite. They're like only clan chiefs can speak.
I like my version.
Yours is good too, and that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
That's the underlying tone.
The technicality is Couladin's not a clan chief. He can't speak.
People who haven't been to Rhuidean can't speak here.
Don't
you, Savannah, can't speak here.
Exactly.
Shido, get out of here.
And she's trying to be like, well, Suladric, me and him, so like I should get that right.
And
but
they're like,
no.
no.
Yeah. And then Couladin tries butting in too, but then Aram's like, hey, stand there, be silent. You have no honor or respect for custom or law.
Yeah,
they're getting shut down pretty hard.
Yeah, and then they notice that Rand and crew have entered, and then everyone is just staring at everyone.
Yeah, it's a lot of staring in this chapter.
It's a stare down.
Yeah.
So then someone,
Han,
whoever that is, asks Ruark why he brought this wetlander here. And so now are we saying Rand and crew have showed up on the stage? Like on the ledge with them?
Yeah.
So now everyone can hear.
Yeah, and that's why Han's pissed off, because it's like, hey, this wetlander's here. If you won't kill him, at least send him away so he's not standing here like he's a chief.
Yes. Okay.
And that's when Ruark's like, yo, this is the guy. This is the dude everyone's talking about.
This is the Dawn guy.
This is the Dawn guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Savannah chimes in with, if this wetlander could speak, so can Couladin. And then Couladin can clearly see this is his moment.
This is
it. He's super pissed. He's surprised Rand's here. And he ignores everyone and joins the group on the ledge stage anyway. And Han gets super pissed off at Couladin. And then Couladin shouts, it's time to be done with customs. And he starts taking off his coat, and then he pronounces himself, he who comes with the dawn, and he just like reveals his 2 perfect shiny dragons on his arms.
So you were surprised?
Oh, yes.
Loved it? Okay.
And then everyone is starting like to shout joyously and cheering.
Oh, yeah, they're
yelling.
Excited. This
they're
is
like,
the guy.
This is him. This is the guy. Even though it makes like literally no sense.
Yeah. So knowing what we know now, do you want to try and explain what happened here?
Well, he's a lying face.
He's lying.
He's got pants on fire.
How'd he get those dragons on his arms?
Did he draw them?
Well, they look authentic. That's the thing. They don't look like they're crayoned on or anything like that.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Later, when Rand makes it rain, I thought that was going to be part of it. Like, his drawings were gonna wash off his arms. Like, I literally thought that was gonna be part of it.
That's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So that hasn't happened from what we've seen. It doesn't look like they're just like markers or anything like that.
Yeah.
We don't have any system for
Clay
that.
or something.
Yeah. So it looks like there's legitimately like 2 perfect dragons on his arms. They're described as 2 perfect dragons.
Yeah.
And it's like from Rand's perspective, they're perfect dragons.
I have no idea.
They're replicas.
How did he do it?
Well, we don't know.
Tell me.
Well, we don't know. Well, we know who he was working with. You know who he was working with at the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to come back to it. We'll answer the questions after. Okay,
I know. I know for sure.
We'll talk about it later. So let's talk about Matt.
Oh, yeah. Because people are just like starting to freak out a little. And then Matt starts motioning for Rand to like get back to his saddle.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And this is the comic relief that I live for. Like, this is so funny.
Yeah, Matt sees how it's going. He's like pulls his hat down.
He's like, Rand.
Come on,
I gotta get out of here.
Let's get back on your horse, man. Like, we gotta go.
It's like, Matt, do you not understand? Like, okay. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't, but it's so good.
So then Couladin starts giving his 45-point plan. 45 points.
First, we cross the dragon wall.
1 point per day.
45 days. We're back in business.
Back in business.
It's great.
Okay. So, conquering the world plan.
Yeah, I want to talk about what he says, though, because it's very, you know...
He's going to cross the dragon wall and steal all the wealth from the wetlanders.
Well, but this is the thing. It's very un-Aiel-like. Like, we know that when Aiel go to war, they literally have rules about what you can take.
Well, yeah, apparently...
It's the 5th.
Yeah.
You take a 5th. You don't take everything.
Yeah, but if you conquer them, you take it all.
That's not the Aiel way.
If you're Couladin.
If you're Sneaky Shido. But that's what I'm saying is like Couladin is clearly out here with a different point. And we've also got Savannah a few times when she's described as like having all the jewelry that anybody has ever had. She's wearing.
Yeah.
So, you know, part of these points are probably coming from Savannah.
Maybe.
Because she's standing there smugly, so she knew this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just in case we weren't 100% sure, they're in cahoots.
Oh, cahoots.
Cahoots.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the time for Rand to act. So he's taking off his jacket. He takes the Angreal out of his coat pocket and tucks it in his waistband, which is a tidbit for later.
Yep.
And he walks over to the ledge and raises his arms above his head, showing his dragons.
Yes. And that's the thing now.
Yeah. So Couladin is still ranting and waving his arms all around for everyone to see. And I just picture this to be so funny. Like a, whoa, look at me. Like I just like, these arms. Like I just.
Yeah. And then Rand just like beside him quietly. Because Rand's not saying anything just yet.
Not yet. So then Couladin changes the topic to point out that Rand is a wetlander and he should get out of here. And that's when Rand is like, yes, idiot. Exactly. I am a
that is who I
wetlander.
am.
And then he gives his speech about how the Dawn guy is supposed to be raised outside of here. Dumbass. And
yeah, I mean, but that's kind of the entire point is that he was born of the blood, but he's raised by those not of the blood.
Yeah.
And all the wise ones and all the clan chiefs, and it's very important they know the prophecies and they know what's up.
Yeah.
So Rand's saying this, although people are cheering, who can, you know, they're just saying, oh my God.
Well, and now they're not really cheering.
Now they're not because it's like
now
there's
it's
two
like,
of you guys.
what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
And Couladin then starts ranting about how prophecies aren't always accurate anymore, probably.
Yeah.
And, you know, those sneaky wise ones colluding with the Aes Sedai can put things like that on you and tell you those things.
Yeah, so this is what we like to call classic projection of, you know, colluding with people.
Yeah.
Because clearly Couladin is colluding with people.
Yeah.
Namely Forsaken.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that.
Sure. Okay. It makes a little more sense to me now, but we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Rhuarc jumps in with the Couladin didn't even go to Rhuidean.
Yeah.
He didn't even go there.
I saw him get rejected.
Yeah.
He's not
allowed
Rand
in there. I witnessed it, and Couladin like doubles down on why he wasn't allowed to go to Rhuidean. The sneaky Aes Sedai, Moraine, went with Rand, murdered Muradin, and then put the dragons on Rand's arms.
Again, more projection where it's like, so Rand legitimately got them because we saw it.
Yeah.
But for Couladin, how did he didn't go to Rhuidean.
Yeah.
Nope. And even though he says he did, we find out that he in fact did not go.
Okay. Yeah. So then Couladin says he went to Rhuidean secretly at night and didn't reveal himself until now to show himself as the Karakarn. Like, he just has an answer for everything.
Well, I also love that the clan chiefs do not like the fact that he even says he secretly went to Rhuidean.
Because you don't do that.
That's not allowed either.
Yeah.
So.
And then he's like, didn't I arrive here at the big boss meeting place at dawn?
He who comes with the dawn.
And
Hello.
This is when I went, oh.
That was his plan.
That was his plan. Actually a good one.
It's not bad. And again, if Rand didn't show up, this would have gone very differently.
Yeah. And so everyone is just sort of waiting, silently confused.
Yeah.
And Rand needs to explain himself here because he's going to get straight up murdered if he can't prove like who he is or what's going on here.
Yeah, something has to happen here.
Yeah. So now Rand has a new plan, and he's going to ask Couladin what he saw in Rhuidean. Because if he actually went, then he should know.
Yeah.
And then Couladin's like, I'm not allowed to talk about that. It's a secret.
Yeah, and also Rhuidean's a holy place, and I am holy.
Yeah.
So he's going off the deep end with the craziness.
And then Rand starts to tell his story. Well, I saw my ancestors, and confirms.
Yeah.
Right? He starts talking about it, and Couladin tries to tell the story of Rhuidean too. Me too. I also saw this.
I love, I just got to jump in because I love in the background with the clan chiefs.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them who keep going like, guys, we got to talk about this in private. Can we take this meeting somewhere else?
Yeah.
Can we stop talking on this ledge where everyone can hear us?
Yeah.
It's just like repeated throughout.
Yeah. And Rand's like, oh no. Couladin says, I saw our coming to the threefold land. I saw our glory, and the glory I will bring back to us.
And that's when everybody knows that Couladin's a big giant liar.
Yeah, his pants are on fire.
So
Rand tells what he saw, the Age of Legend, the beginning of the Aiel journey. Rhuarc tries to stop Rand at one point, and Rand shakes him off and thinks that, like, this is the moment that has been fated to happen. So he says that the Aiel were called the Daishain Aiel and followed the way of the leaf.
Yeah, so this probably isn't going to go very well.
Everyone gets super pissed off at this. There's an uproar, and Rand sees Mat motioning wildly for Rand to get back to his horse.
Yeah, it's more of it.
And it's so loud and crazy that, like, they can't even hear each other. And so Savannah is trying to pull Couladin down. Like, she can see from the other clan chiefs that that's clearly true, and Couladin is clearly the liar.
Yes. I mean, this is where there's the different divisions of who knew what was going to be happening.
Yeah.
So Savannah knew that Couladin had the plan with the dragons, but she didn't know that Rand had dragons because when they saw him reveal them, they were shocked.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does she know? And now she sees that Couladin's on the losing side of this.
And is
so
like,
she's trying to back out.
She's trying to, like, save him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, Couladin has to, like, triple down on his business here.
Yes, he does. He digs his heels in even more, saying that the Aiel have always been warriors from the beginning of time. And the clan chiefs now really know who's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And Rhuarc tells Rand about what he's done.
Yeah, so there's going to be consequences, and we kind of gotta encompass some of this into the rest of the chapter too.
Yeah, because Rhuarc is like, you shouldn't have done that. Why do you think we don't share this information with the peeps? Only 1 in 3 men survive hearing this.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Let me tell you, though, this is what I've been saying all along.
Yeah.
Maybe more people would survive if you told them what was up, like, from the beginning, and it wouldn't be so shocking.
Yeah, and the question is kind of like, how do you create this, like, you know, undefeatable warrior culture if you're going to say we used to follow the way of leaf and then we switched? Like,
yeah.
How do you build this, like, Aiel culture?
I don't know, but there's got to be something to, like, learning history, even if you're not happy with the history of your people.
Yeah, so, like, I 100% agree with you on that. Like, we're totally in agreement that they should have maybe not hid everything.
And then Rhuarc's like, well, what's done is done.
Yeah, it's done. Rand brings change.
Yeah.
He's going to take you back and he will destroy you.
Yeah.
So it's very literally like taking them back to their origins, and it's going to destroy the culture of what they think that they are, right?
Yeah, and I think that, like, maybe more people would survive if they knew this all along, like they could understand their history instead of letting it kill them.
Yep. Put money into public education, everybody. Come on.
Yeah. Learn your history.
Learn it.
So Rand brings change and says sadly, what will be, will be. And Rourke's like, yeah, I guess. So after some hesitation, Bale announces...
That's the big guy.
Big guy. Through Couladin's shouts that Rand is the Karakarn, and then all the other clan chiefs follow suit. They all announce Rand.
Yeah, they know what's up.
Yeah. Pandemonium just breaks out in the canyon. Couladin tries to kill Rand by launching a spear at him.
Yeah, good on Adellin though, hey?
Yeah, I thought she dies.
No, she just blocks it with her buckler. She gets it.
Yeah, she gets it.
Good on her, yeah.
But I thought it, like, anyway.
She like, no, jumps in front. Yeah. Take a bullet.
Because, like, it impales her, I thought.
Buckler. Impales her buckler.
Yeah, I don't know what a buckler is. So that's
a
like...
small shield.
Yeah, okay.
That's the shield on the chapter's icon.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, small little circle shield.
The shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called a buckler.
Not, because I thought, like, maybe it was her, like, what she wears.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then, I don't know, I thought she was going to be dead. But no, she's not. So... There's about to be an all-out Aiel war here because now Couladin tried to just kill the Karakarn.
And also the fact that Rand just told all the Aiel some troubling news.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of bad things going on here. Plus, he's a wetlander. Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, so Rand has to do something before everyone kills everyone. And so Rand channels, and he thinks he has to do something remarkable enough to stop this war zone. And then he thinks of water. So he does some channeling business without really knowing what he's doing. Yep. There's a bunch of wind, and then he brings traces of water and more and more and more until there's a mist of rain that begins to fall, growing heavier and heavier into a downpour. And I just thought, oh my god, this must be so crazy.
Yes, in a place that never gets rain, basically, ever.
And they don't know that Rand has done this, so it's like all of a sudden, it's just raining. Like, and they have never experienced anything like this before. Oh man, I could just imagine how nuts that would be.
Yeah.
So then...
if things weren't crazy enough.
Yeah. All of a sudden, there's a dome protecting Rand from the rain around him, and he's standing there with Lanfear.
Yeah.
And I say, excellent. Yes.
Yes, awesome.
So she calls him a fool for wasting her planning and efforts. And Rand tells her he didn't expect her to reveal herself yet.
Okay, one thing I gotta talk about here. So Rand, since the beginning of this book, has been talking about his secret plan.
Yeah.
His secret plan like number 2.
Yeah.
Besides like first secret plan of like the
other
tier
secret
business.
plan.
Other secret
plans.
Like, yeah, secret plan. And when he's like, hey, I didn't expect you to show yourself yet.
Yeah.
He was expecting her to show herself at some point.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we gotta talk about these secret plans when we get into it.
Sure. Okay. So then he says, I know you're not alone. Where is he?
That's the cue.
Yeah. And then she's like, Gah, I knew he would give himself away coming into your dreams like that.
Yeah.
And so Rand says he expected this to happen since he left the Stone of Tyr out here where he's fixed on Rhuidean and the Aiel. Turns out this is Rand's trap that he set, not Lanfear's.
Yeah, and we get another where is he? So this is pretty huge because we've gotten this whole Rand is thinking constantly about I'm setting the trap, I'm laying the trap.
Yeah.
I need to get there first, I need to go fast.
Yeah.
So what he's setting the trap for is ultimately Asmodean.
Yeah.
That's who it's for.
Yeah, and Lanfear gave him that idea, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. But
it's all
great.
Intertwined.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. It's all coming together. So Lanfear is like, if you knew, then why did you chase him away?
Yeah.
All those times he talked to you about greatness.
Hey.
So at this point, though, we still don't know which one of the peddlers.
We don't.
So.
Yeah.
Lanfear brought Asmodean here to teach Rand, but now Asmodean thinks he's found something better for himself in Rhuidean, and he's off to take it while you stand here.
Yes, and this is important. So she says Couladin and the Drakkar are all to hold Rand's attention while he made sure that he was going to get what he wants.
Right, and then this in my notes, I actually wrote, wait, what does Couladin have to do with the Forsaken? Because I never picked up on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we know at the end of this that Asmodean is the Gleeman, Jason the Tail.
Yeah.
And then we saw him a couple times arguing one specific incident.
Yeah, with Matt.
Arguing,
yeah.
with Couladin.
No, Matt saw them.
Oh yeah, Matt saw.
I mean, we were in Matt's perspective while they were arguing. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. And then he left. They left each other, and it looked like there was some sort of disagreement or something didn't go well.
You know, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
This was going to be a surprise in a little bit for the folks.
Okay.
But I have gone back and I have re-listened to every chapter, every episode that we did in The Waste.
You did,
And I took notes on what I predicted along the way.
Which was everything.
Because I wanted to be able to say that I was right, even though I predicted a million things. So I did that, but I have to say, I didn't listen to Matt's perspective on the whole Couladin and Natil arguing thing.
I think I recall it, and I don't think that you came to any conclusions
I was
about
like,
it.
who cares?
Yeah, it was one of those situations.
I think I said something like, oh, he probably wants the peddlers to go peddle with the Shido, not the Jindo, or something.
Yeah.
It was something like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay,
so yeah, we have here Lanfear telling us that Asmodean set up the Couladin business and the Drakkar business as a diversion. So that's Couladin was working with Asmodean.
Yeah.
Not Lanfear.
Yeah.
So that's important to note.
Okay.
So Asmodean helped him with the tattoo thing.
Clearly. Yeah. And then the Drakkar, which I guess he just like hoped Rand would destroy.
Yeah, I mean, keep throwing him off his game, right?
Yeah, like he never actually thought that the Drakkar were going to kill Rand.
Well,
probably.
I mean, maybe, hopefully, but...
Is that what Asmodean wanted? Lanfear for sure didn't want that.
Lanfear doesn't, but we also saw Lanfear and Asmodean as Jason and Tail, like arguing a bunch too. Like there was a whole bunch of inter-arguing
Lots of
between all the peddlers.
Yeah,
it was
and
all a
that's
mess.
Everything, and we'll get there because I have copious notes on all of my predictions that we will talk about. So anyway, Lanfear tells Rand that it has to be Asmodean to teach him because the others will not be so kind to him. And now Lanfear can't help Rand openly, and she asks what could Asmodean find in Rhuidean worth Lanfear making herself known.
That's huge. Well, that's huge because Lanfear doesn't know that the woman version of that Angreal is in Rhuidean.
No,
she doesn't even know that the male version is there.
No, she doesn't.
And she's asking Rand why is he even going there?
But we saw Asmodean poking around Rhuidean in the dream world.
We did see that.
With Nynaeve.
And he was also asking a bunch of questions, like to Matt and Rand about what happened, what did you see?
Yeah.
And we don't know specifically if Matt told him anything.
And you kept trying to tell me that he was just going to write his Glee Man epic.
I did say that. I said a few things like that.
You're a liar.
It's kind of funny though, because Lanfear in the same breath is like, what's in Rhuidean that's worth even like letting myself be known? And then immediately is like, hey, there's also two gigantic Angreal that we need to take and use together.
We can use together to challenge ...
It's like, those are the things that Asmodean is going for.
Exactly. So Rand does something that he remembers he's done before.
Yeah.
Like at the end of The Dragon Reborn. When he created a doorway to follow Ishamael around.
Yes. Yeah.
So he
folds
reality, he bends a small patch, and then a door opens, and he steps into darkness. And I think that this is traveling.
Interesting. Okay.
Sort of. I know that in the Age of Legends, it's obviously like faster and quicker, because when we got the whole Luz Theron, transports himself.
He didn't have to
open a doorway, sit
on a ramp.
Yeah,
or anything like that.
Walk through some stairway to nowhere and then get another doorway.
However, I know you were really confused at the end of The Eye of the World.
Yes.
And now we get a little bit of closure to the first book.
Definitely we get
about what happened there. So,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. But I think that this is traveling or like traveling.
Like traveling.
Because, I don't remember what book it was in.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of The Dragon Reborn, maybe?
Okay.
When Moraine is like, well, I don't think Rand can travel. Probably.
Yeah.
And she has that little thought.
Yeah.
And she has that thing that she says, and that made
get from one place to another really fast.
Made me go well, can Rand travel? So
okay, maybe. So maybe. A version of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that next chapter.
Right. He wishes he could kill Lanfear, but nope, because she's a woman, not trying to kill him. So he steps through to find Asmodean.
Yeah. Can't kill the woman yet.
Yep, and that's the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
Chapter 58, The Traps of Rhuidean.
Yeah, last chapter.
Last chapter, and I have to tell you, when I listened to the audiobooks,
Yeah.
it threw me off for a minute because Michael Kramer says, Chapter 58, the last chapter.
Oh.
The Traps of Rhuidean.
Okay.
And I was like, the last chapter isn't called the last chapter, because that sounds like it could be a chapter title.
It could be.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah.
But anyway.
That was a good Michael Kramer impression, too.
It was
gotta
okay.
Say.
It was medium.
It was perfect.
So, we get the chapter symbol, the wheel and snake.
As is tradition.
As is tradition. So, now, if I thought the last chapter was confusing...
Ah, yes.
This one...
More confusing.
Also confusing. So, we're in Rand's perspective. We're continuing right from where we left off. Rand has stepped through the doorway into blackness.
Yes.
With the, impossible stairs hanging unsupported.
Yeah.
He thinks, I've seen these before.
He certainly has seen these before.
And I wrote Eye of the World.
Yeah.
This is how he got to the battle at Tarwin's Gap.
So this is how he left the battle at Tarwin's Gap as well.
Is it how he got there?
No.
How did he get there?
So the way he got to Tarwin's Gap was he thought to himself in that battle with Agenor, he was thinking, away, I have to get away. And then he was at Tarwin's Gap.
Okay.
And then he did the whole, kill the Trollocs thing.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, after the battle was done, basically, that's when the stairs appeared. And then the darkness surrounded him, the utter blackness of total nothing. And it is described as the steps were still there, hanging in the black, under his feet and ahead. And when he looked back, those behind were gone, faded away to nothing, into the nothingness around him.
Okay, so that's what this is.
Yeah, and he followed those steps until he was at the showdown with Baalzamon.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the same description, the same experience we're getting here.
Okay. All right, so he's going up the stairs, and he thinks that the Forsaken has all the knowledge, and he knows nothing.
Which is true.
And
that's
that's
fair.
not the first time he thinks that here, and it's just a little bit of a nod to what we're going to find out.
Yeah,
I think.
Absolutely.
So Rand is running up the stairs as fast as he can. The steps adjust to accommodate his strides. And then his old half-healed wound is about to break open again.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on that.
And then that's the last time we hear about it this chapter, I think.
Yeah.
So
it's important that that's the last time we hear about it. You got to keep a note of that mentally.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to, but...
No, it was kind of like when he was climbing the Stone of Tyr.
Yeah.
That it was on the verge of splitting open, but did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Rand sees a figure ahead and knows it's Asmodean.
Yeah.
And so he's standing on a silvery platform that's sliding through the darkness.
He's surfing.
And Rand copies it. He's like, this is way better than running up a bunch of stairs.
He's literally been just hustling.
Yeah. And he's like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want a hoverboard.
So here's the thing. This area that we're in right now is very similar to two things. It's very similar to the Ways.
And Tel'aran'rhiod.
The Ways because of the darkness and the blackness, and Tel'aran'rhiod because of the whole I think things and then it becomes reality.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Rand gets closer to Asmodean, and then he sees the black threads that are running off of him.
Mm-hmm.
And Rand thinks, I've seen that before too. And is that Agenor that had them, or Baalzamon?
So it was Baalzamon because the Agenor ones was the white light, the white cord from the Eye of the World, because he and Rand were battling for the power of the Eye. But he has seen the black threads from Baalzamon, but only in Tel'aran'rhiod type areas.
Got it.
Which makes sense why we're seeing it here, because we notably do not see it once he's in Rhuidean. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Asmodean turns his head to reveal the face of dun dun dun,
the Gleeman. Oh my
Jason
god.
Nateel. And I just said, nice.
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's the one. That's the guy. So he's surprised because he was sure it was Kadir.
Which is really interesting. Rand thought it was Kadir.
Yeah, with his beady eyes.
So, but that's the thing. From the beginning, Rand was a little bit crazy with you have to look at the eyes.
Very suspicious, yeah.
But he was expecting the Forsaken to be in the Peddlers. He just got the wrong ones.
He got the wrong one.
So.
Yeah, okay. So then we get this silvery disc battle.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
And Asmodean is like throwing walls of fire at Rand.
And they're surfing.
And Rand is shattering them. And then like, it's a very Tron.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, because it's just all black. And then it's just like...
It's black and they're on like their silvery motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like, pew, pew. Yeah.
I don't know.
I get it.
And then he's like lashing out at Asmodean. And then Rand's like, I need to catch him, not kill him.
Yeah.
And then abruptly Asmodean's platform stops. And there's a bright doorway that appears.
Yep.
And he jumps through it. And then the door begins to close. And Rand lashes out wildly with the power to hold the doorway open. Because if it closes, he'll have no way of knowing where Asmodean got out.
Yeah, and at the Eye of the World, after Rand was done climbing the stairs, there was a doorway, and he like went through it, and that's when he had the showdown with Baalzamon.
Okay.
So it's like same idea, just a little bit different on the exit.
Got it. Okay. So they get to the waist in front of Rhuidean.
Yep.
And when he jumped through the closing doorway, his boot heel got like sliced off.
So don't get caught in the middle of one of those closing doors.
And he was like, I did not know that was dangerous.
It's like, come on, man.
It's like, Rand, are you joking? You didn't know that was dangerous? Like,
what happens if you get caught in the middle of it? You get chopped in half.
Well, and then he's like, oh, the forsaken of all the knowledge.
Shoot. I hate that.
Yeah, so then he thinks, Asmodean can't escape. And he runs blind through the fog surrounding Rhuidean.
Yes.
And then he rolls out, like, his last stride out of the fog, which apparently is a good thing because there is, like, some kind of weird trap.
You could say a trap of Rhuidean.
Yeah, it's all confusing. I get it. Chapter title. Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. But I'm, like, confused because I didn't really get what was going on.
Asmodean runs to the fog first.
Yeah.
Rand's behind him.
Yeah.
And then Asmodean puts up, like, 3 laser thin, like...
razor bladey
type things to slice Rand into 3 pieces if he just, like, runs head first. So he slides Indiana Jones style underneath the lower one.
A lot of this kind of sounds a little bit like The Pattern and Taviran.
A little bit. I mean, Asmodean's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Rand's not trying to kill Asmodean.
No, but Rand also is just, like, avoiding death by accident right now.
Yeah, so it's, like, totally Pattern Taviran-ness stuff.
Yeah. So, Asmodean is ahead, running towards, like, the Great Plaza at the heart of the city.
Yep.
Rand channels with some effort. Like, he's getting tired.
Because he's already tired, and also probably still a little hungover from that whiskey.
I didn't know that was last night.
Yeah, I know how...
I thought that was, like, over some time.
Yeah, a couple days. But, you know, if you drink enough whiskey, you're going to be hungover for a few days.
He's not hungover. So, with some effort, though, he brings down some pillars ahead to stop Asmodean.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, is like, he's not trying to kill Asmodean.
No,
clearly.
He needs him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Asmodean and Rand have a channeling battle while running towards the center of Rhuidean.
Yeah, that's where all the good stuff is.
Right. So, they're just, like, destroying this place.
Yeah.
Plus, Rand is really straining to channel.
Yeah.
And now, at the center, where all the power objects, all the Angreal, all the things are, everything is just getting, like, tossed around and destroyed because the earth is, like, quaking around.
Yeah.
And, like, lightning bolt, firewall, this, that, and it's just, like, erupting and explosions.
Yeah, yeah, they're tearing the city apart, and Asmodean's trying to find something, he's searching for something.
Yeah, Asmodean is searching wildly during this lightning channeling face-off, and so then Asmodean finds what he's been looking for, which is impressive.
It is.
This is, like, a mile-long area.
But keep in mind,
we decided last time it was like a big, huge.
Like I never picked up it was a mile long, but
so much crap just like lying around everywhere on the ground.
But keep in mind a couple things I'll point out. Rand felt some sort of connection to not just the big version of the Angreal in Cairhien, but he also felt a connection when Matt and Rand were leaving Rhuidean.
He looked down at it.
He like felt that or noticed it and like bent down.
We talked about it,
We talked about it and he was like, no, not yet. Hopefully not for a long time yet. Mm-hmm. And then like leaves it. And then also Egwene, with the counter example in Tenchico with the woman statue,
was drawn to it.
So maybe if Asmodean knows what he's looking for and is like in tune with this kind of thing,
right,
he might be able to feel a little bit of like...
But Egwene felt like pain with that, but is that because it was broken? Or because it was right beside the collars.
No, let's talk about that when we talk about Lanfear later on.
Okay,
we'll come back to that. But that's what I'm saying is like Asmodean maybe has a bit of a connection, so maybe he can feel out for it versus just like blindly searching a mile long. Like he's feeling for it.
Okay. I appreciate that. I like that. So it's the white figurine. It's about a foot tall. And it's a man holding a crystal spear in an upraised hand. And I went, ooh.
This is the one.
And then Rand is right there too. And he grabs it too.
This is awesome. This is so good.
And the strength battle begins. So they're physically fighting for this thing while channeling through the thing.
Yeah, like yanking at the power. And it's very similar to the fight that he had with Agnor in the Eye of the World, where they were both wrestling for the power of the eye, and here they're fighting for the power of the Angreal.
Right. And we also get a really interesting description of how Rand channels through it.
And how it works.
And he pictures or has some sense of the statue in Kyrian.
Yes. So this is really important, and just to clarify, because we kind of get that description here, the little version of the statue holding the sphere, this is technically a Angreal that connects you to the big, gigantic, big boy statue, which is the literal Angreal. So the big boy and the big girl statue, the one that's also in Tremalking, the girl version versus the boy version in Kyrian, those are the actual...
I like male and female better than
boy and girl.
Boy and girl.
Whatever floats your boat. It's all good.
Well, that's what floats my boat.
Okay, so the male/female versions of the statue, those the big ones are the Angreal, and these little the statues, are the Angreal to give you access to the big ones.
Got it. Now, when Rand was standing outside in Tremoncian, and he was drawn to it, almost like he was gonna put his horse over the cliff. Drawn to it.
Drawn to the power.
If he's there, can he use it?
Probably not.
He needs the little guy.
You need the little doohickey guy to gain access to it.
Interesting, because he's drawn to it, and Lanfear knew and was like, "Come away from there."
This is the thing. Lanfear was literally freaking out, knowing what we know now about who she is and what she wants.
Yeah,
she wants Rand to not die. Maybe he could, but he would for sure get destroyed by trying to use it directly.
Interesting.
At least at that point. So it seems like, and why would Asmodean need this little doohickey,
if
the
he
Forsaken?
Knows where it is.
It's like you're gonna figure out where it is.
Well, and also before all the Civil War in Kyrian, they were trying to dig it out.
Yeah, they were, and we don't know where they got.
Yeah, what's going on with that guy?
Probably didn't go very well. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay,
but.
Okay, so because Rand and Asmodean are both hanging onto this thing, they each can only access half of the power.
Seems fair.
And so they're wrestling physically, and they're wrestling with the power to beat the other one, and the earth beneath them is just quaking and destroying freaking everything, and Rand has a passing thought about the glass columns. And I thought for sure those were going down.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was going to be a huge plot point.
I mean, considering the fact that at the end of this event, Sora's on fire.
Oh, we have to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that those glass columns were going to go down, and that was going to be, huge.
You know, it's
because then he was going to be the last person who went through them.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was going to be something.
A huge plot point.
It's not.
Well, and also, the whole, I'll take you back to your roots and then destroy it, as in I'll literally destroy the roots of what you can know. That would have worked really well for prophecy, too.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just going to say, it's really funny, Asmodean and Rand's battle is so very different than Nynaeve and Mogedian's battle.
Who stand there staring at each other?
It's these guys are literally tussling.
And destroying everything.
Destroying a city, so...
Yeah, well... Yeah, but then what's her name with her fire
hose
just also destroyed a bunch of shit too.
Yeah, I love it. So, but she wasn't involved. She shouldn't even been there.
I know, but she was. Okay, so then now Rand is extremely tired. He's on the verge of losing sighting, and so is Asmodean. But he's almost as tired as Rand. But Asmodean thinks he's winning, and then Rand remembers that he has his little man, or Angreal.
Little fat man, Angreal.
Yeah. And he thinks, will it be enough to make a difference? Yup.
Which is also interesting that you can use a Angreal and also use another Angreal at the same time.
Yeah, I wish I knew what any of those words meant.
You can use a big guy and a little guy at the same time. They're not like,
I know, but it's just like, it's all so confusing.
It's good to know.
I know.
It's quality information.
I bet.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where Rand channels like a sword or like a blade edge or something, and Rand notes that he can't see the black wires around Asmodean here in Rhuidean.
That's important.
But he visualizes where they are.
Where they should be.
Yeah. And he uses the power sword of light.
Of light, yes. We don't know what it is exactly. Like, we don't know of the 5.
But he, like, strikes down.
Yeah, he gets it. He does the thing.
And Asmodean screams and quivers, and then it looks like there's 2 of him, but then they form back into 1, like he was split in half, and Rand wins the fight for the Angreal.
There you go. He did it.
Can't say the words, but yeah.
Yeah, it was like the shock of cutting off, and we find out that Asmodean, that's the connection to the Dark One that he's literally seeing, which makes sense why he saw it all over, like, Baalzamon and stuff.
Right.
Right? Because he also tried to sever that with Baalzamon a few times.
He did, yeah.
He did that whole deal, which is probably why Ishamael was pretty pissed off, but, you know.
Okay, so this is where the battle is over.
Yes.
And the glass columns are still standing.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, phew. And then in the book, it says, but Avendasora had lived for 3,000 years in legend and truth. Avendasora blazed like a torch.
Yes.
Avendasora's on fire.
Yeah.
This was incredibly heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe this. What's this going to mean? This is such a big deal. And when I was listening to the audiobook, doing my notes,
did they change it?
They changed it.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't believe you didn't know this.
I didn't know that.
So the audio, I'll play it.
Okay.
But the audiobook said, I'm actually just going to let you listen to it. Okay?
The earth had stopped moving. The glass columns still stood. He was grateful for that. Destroying them would have been like obliterating the history of the Aiel. And though trefoil leaves littered the pavement beneath Avendasora, only one branch of the great tree hung broken. But the rest of Rhuidean?
Wow.
Do you love that catch or what? I love that.
That's huge. That's huge.
And I had to go back.
They changed not just like a word, they changed like a sentence.
The entire thing that must not have tracked well with audiences that Avendasora went up in flames.
Well, even at the end of this chapter, even in this version though, they talk about how like they're going to have to tend to Avendasora again.
Do they?
They don't talk about it like it's destroyed forever. Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's why it's so interesting to me, because they talk about how it's in flames right now.
But it's like blazing like a torch.
But it's the tree of life.
Yeah. I know, but like,
that's the thing. It's like, yeah.
But it was a cutting of the, like, there used to be chora trees everywhere.
Exactly.
It's like literally just a tree.
And it's not saying like all the other chora trees died. It's like they were lost or whatever. We don't know what it takes to destroy a chora tree.
Right.
And we don't know if fire actually does that.
But so that must not have tracked well with audiences.
Yeah. I'll point it out because I even have a note where it's like, oh, you know, people are going to start living in Rhuidean and they're going to have to come and tend to Avendasora.
Yeah.
As in, it's not destroyed forever. It's just like on fire currently.
Yeah. Well, because my notes, I was ready to be like, I'm so heartbroken.
Yeah.
What's up with Avendasora?
It's like, my God, it didn't actually.
And then I had to go back and go back and go back and be like, wait, what? And then I had to get my book and then I had to. So I don't know at what version this was changed. Like maybe you could go on a dive. I bet this is one that people know about.
That's a good one.
Because you know about the different like Lan sharpening his blade, and then someone was like, "Oh, they changed it."
The issue is I don't have like an almanac of
no.
all the...
And then I remember the one you talked about, Tom flourish or like using his second best knives, and things like that. They changed little things, but I feel like this is a big one. I can't believe, like I thought for sure you would have. I thought this might have even been like your fun fact or something.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, I'm glad I got to find something.
Yeah. That's good. That's
because
good.
of my new way of taking notes.
Yeah.
Because we happen to have these really old versions because I got my books at a thrift store.
But then you listen to the newer ones. So.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I want to know, can you guys reach out to us? Instagram, Twitter, on our Discord. Tell us
the versions. What do you have?
Tell us the version you have, and are you shocked that it was on fire, or are you shocked that only a branch was broken?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. This is the interaction for this episode. There's a lot there's gonna be, but I didn't anticipate this.
This is important.
This is important.
Well, and it's so funny because you were like, "Hey, do you know the thing?" And I was like, "What thing? I don't know the thing."
And I was like, "Okay, never mind."
Yeah, it's like
I
super
was like,
secret.
"If you don't know,
and with like no context, but
yeah, but you would know.
I would know if I knew it, I would know.
Okay.
But I didn't, so I don't.
So you don't, but now you do.
But now I do.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay, so the rest of Rhuidean is not looking good. Buildings and pillars are all collapsed.
That's all still totally messed up.
And the fog is like dissipating, which is like, that was the protection. So I don't really know. Plus the mountains that were protecting the city, like around it, are like way lower on either side.
Yeah.
So
hold on.
What?
So this is the thing. What I got to bring it back to the Avendosora thing again, because the Avendosora on fire is literally like in my brain. It's a Lord of the Rings thing, because one of the visions that it has is the White Tree of Gondor is on fire, symbolizing that
Like,
Gondor is going to fall.
Okay.
So the White Tree of Gondor is like the tree that's on the top of the big like Minas Tirith.
Sure.
And it's like a huge plot point in like the third movie, and we'll watch it at some point. I swear we will.
We're getting to it.
But it's like Avendosora on fire is literally the White Tree on fire.
Well, it's not anymore.
And that's how like Pippin knows, but it's not anymore, and it's fine. And it turns out that Minas Tirith did not in fact burn to the ground. It was saved. So it's like it's like this whole it's 100% Lord of the Rings reference for me.
Okay, well,
yeah,
not anymore. It's not.
And I forgot because I wrote it down in my notes. So
now we have to take a non-shot because it's not a shot anymore. It's not a reference anymore.
No, it is. It is a reference. It still counts.
Okay, quick though.
Okay.
Okay, well, cheers to Avendosora not burning
and to Gondor not falling.
In case you were wondering, I got whiskey.
Yeah, that was the last of the blackberry whiskey.
Yeah, we can call it Usquai.
Usquai. Blackberry Usquai. Yeah.
Okay. So we get that Rand is super pissed off that he destroys everything everywhere he goes.
Yeah. Again.
He's like, God, I'm such a destroyer.
Why do I gotta keep
Rand
doing
the
that?
Destroyer.
Yeah.
So Asmodean looks like he's gonna crawl for the Angreal.
Yeah.
And then Rand like holds up. Oh, sorry, I'm still
recovering from the whiskey. Yeah.
Rand threatens to like punch him in the face.
Well, they're both so tired of channeling.
He like holds up a fist. Why I oughta.
But it's like it makes sense because Rand's also a big dude,
and he's
like,
don't like even think about it. Yeah.
Oh, also we didn't talk about the fact when Rand and Asmodean were tussling, they almost rolled into / through the red doorway.
Oh, yes.
They like bumped into it. And it's like if they had both gone through, oh my God, add new layers.
Which was still standing, by the way.
It's still there.
Still there, still standing.
Okay.
But good point, point. Okay. So this is where Lanfear shows up.
Of course,
she just poofs into existence.
She's just waiting.
Or she's just like watching these idiot men. You know,
she clearly is watching them tussle. She's just like
waiting, and she's like, you certainly did a number around here, guys.
Yeah.
And so she mentions how Rhuidean was shielded in some way, but Rand thoroughly destroyed that.
This is big. This is huge.
Yeah, so now it's not shielded in any way.
Well, the fog is dissipating.
Yeah.
The fog surrounding Rhuidean is going away.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
It's no longer Olympic Village. Anybody can come to this village now.
It's not the city in the clouds. It's not
just a city.
It's not the clouds anymore.
So boring.
Yeah. So Lanfear figures out that Asmodean was after this Angreal. And she's like, oh, I thought they were all destroyed.
Yes. Ooh.
Except that like freaking half a book ago, she was like, I know of these two things we can use.
She knows about the Angreal. She doesn't know about the little Angreal, keys or whatever you want to call them.
But if she's like, oh, we're going to use them together. And here she's like, I didn't know these existed anymore. Like,
maybe she was calling her bluff. I got to remake them or something.
I'm calling her bluff.
But, okay, she does only know so far of half that remains.
Oh, okay.
Of the single one that she has seen. And this is where I was saying, she says, a fine trap for some unwary Aes Sedai.
Oh, like the broken one.
She's literally talking about the broken one in Tanchico.
Okay.
And I gotta bring it back here because when Egwene touched it in Tel'aran'rhiod in chapter 11, she had that whole, it seemed familiar to her. So she goes up to it and it's the woman holding the crystal sphere, but it's broken. And then she picks it up because it calls to her. and then she grabs it, the power surges in her, and then rebounds back into the figurine, back and forth, and then she drops it.
Oh, like it can't get to the Tremalking one.
Yes, and she touched it in Tel'aran'rhiod, and if she had have touched it in the real world, Lanfear is literally saying that's a fine trap for an unwary Aes Sedai. So, and that's when we were talking
because it's like she'll kill herself with the power flow, basically.
Because it's like reverberations is just going to
because it's broken.
Yes. So it can't properly access the Angreal.
That's cool.
Yes.
Not cool, but like cool.
Oh, it's cool.
It's cool.
You can call it cool.
Okay, but she thinks they were all destroyed, so how does she think that her and Rand are going to be able to use them?
Well, maybe she can remake them with enough time and effort.
Maybe. I'm just calling her bluff a little bit.
Secondary problem.
She's got some bluff.
She's got to entice Rand to come over to the dark side.
I don't even think she cares. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Because she's like, hey, let me see that. And Rand's like, no.
It's mine.
And he holds it tighter. And she's like, by all means, keep it. I don't even care. That's like literally nothing to me because it's a man one.
Yeah.
And she explains to Rand that this is what she was talking about before when she was like, we can beat the Dark One with this.
Did you feel the power? There's so much power.
Except that literally just goes back to the exact thing I was just talking about, where she says, I thought they were all destroyed. Hey, this is the thing we can use.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's a happy little accident.
Okay. So Asmodean crawls to Lanfear and begs for help, but she's like, ugh. Poor people are disgusting.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Okay, hold on. We also say that a fair amount, and that's also a bit from a comedy sketch. And
yes.
That's not a us thing, just so it's a hilarious...
It just comes up a lot when there's a lot of poor people around, and there's a lot of people who don't like poor people. So, it's a really good comedy bit.
It's a great comedy. I don't even remember what the actor's name, the comedian's name is, but...
Yeah, he's funny.
He's so funny.
We should give him some credit.
Yeah, we should. We got to figure that out. But
I'll
that's
find
a bit.
Hold on. Okay, side fun fact.
Yeah.
This comedian is so funny. Pete Zedlacker, he's a Canadian stand-up comedian.
So Canadian.
And he's originally from Wawa, Ontario.
Yeah.
And he appeared on Just for Laughs and won some awards. He's so funny.
His
funny.
Bits are so funny. Oh my god, okay.
Like, very, very, very funny. And there's a bit.
Watch it, you'll understand why we keep saying that.
So... Right. Asmodean is crawling to Lanfear, begs for help, and he's like, help me, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, super pitiful right now.
And then Rand is like, hey, Chosen.
Yeah.
Like, he's taunting them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just cut him off from the Dark One.
So this is big, too. This is, like,
huge. And it's
huge.
interesting that Rand knows what he did.
He knows what he did, and Lanfear doesn't know that it was possible.
She's actually shocked.
Yeah.
And Rand is glad that she didn't know that he can do that and says, maybe none of you will know that.
Well, and here's the thing. So Lanfear asks a very relevant question in a little bit here.
Yep.
She says, how much do you actually remember, Luce Theron?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't think it's much.
But this is the thing.
Yeah.
With Rand knowing and actually and functionally cutting Asmodean off from the Dark One and doing it intentionally, like, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing. He knew how to do it. He did it. It's like, how much of this is, like, Rand knowing what to do or getting lucky? You're like, how does this all work?
Yeah.
How much does he actually remember? So
maybe some things.
Maybe it's like
muscle memory, but like in his brain.
Yeah. I mean, he totally did that on purpose for a reason.
Maybe he, like, has Luce Theron energy.
Ah, yes, the vibes.
Yeah, like a Force Ghost.
Force Ghost, love it, okay.
Put it on the prediction board.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
You know.
Write it down.
Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are upset that we don't actually have a board.
I'm working on it very slowly.
Well, okay, it's not a physical board.
It's not a physical board,
but it's
people.
like a Google Doc. Put it on the Google Doc sounds way like...
I don't have a board with strings and sticky notes.
Oh, we should. That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Okay, but back to this, though, because Rand reveals his whole plan.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, so this is the plan that Lanfear gave him the idea for. So he needs a man to teach him how to control the power, but Rand won't be taught by someone connected to the Dark One.
Yes.
Now, this is interesting because I sort of had this prediction. I sort of really wanted him to just half team up with a dark friend and or like a Forsaken and just like learn and then like leave him.
You had a couple theories going on.
But I was like, yeah, use them.
Yeah. You also had the Horn of Valir as being like a, critical, element to this. Get a person from the Horn of Valir, old soul, teach me how to channel. And that would have worked really well too.
Sort of.
And it's interesting that Rand says Lanfear gave him the entire plan, when in reality, I'm going to give some props to Moraine for also planting those seeds. Yeah. And also to Ishamael for planting those seeds.
100%. Because that was where I was like, I know I'm being irresponsible, but I really want him to use a Forsaken.
Ishi from the beginning, Ishamael was like, come to their side, I'll teach you, I'll be your mentor.
And then he was like, no, I'm going to murder you.
Yeah. He's like, flip flop, I'll teach you, I'll teach you. And then Moraine...
I meant Rand murdered Beelzebub.
Well, Ishamael was also like, a little bit on the fence of everything, so...
Yeah, he was off his little rocker.
And the interesting part is that Moraine also has multiple times talked about how she can teach him, and at Chapter 8 of The Great Hunt, Moraine and Rand have a conversation, and Moraine tells Rand that she can't teach him how to use the power, but there are those who can teach him, the male Aes Sedai, but they're all like 3,000 years dead.
Right, and so is that where I started the prediction of, okay, there's gonna be some kind of old, like...
That's where it kind of like started, because that was Great Hunt.
The Great Hunt, so I was like, oh, use the Horn of Valir, maybe like...
Old Soul,
old Luce
get one of those old
somehow.
LTT, teach Rand, so... But it's kind of culminated in this whole, like, Rand put it together when Lanfear talks to him at the beginning of this book, where she's like, hey, I can get Asmodean to teach you, and then he finally is like, yes, I can get a Forsaken to teach me how to use the power.
Yeah.
And then he puts the stipulations of like, oh, they can't be connected to the Dark One, so I gotta chop them off.
You gotta chop them off.
Chop them off, so...
Okay, so can I have like some part marks?
Oh, yeah, 100% part marks at least.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, normally you're really stingy with your marks.
This I'm gonna give you, because like from the beginning, you were all on board with like Rand needs to learn from someone.
Yes.
Not just figure it out by himself.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Self-education goes only so far.
Right.
Get someone to teach you.
Yeah. And so now that Asmodean isn't connected to the Dark One, he doesn't have a choice, so he can stay and teach Rand and hope that Rand wins and help him wins, or he can hope that the rest of the Forsaken don't use this as an excuse to turn on him.
Which is really smart. Because
it's like blackmail.
It is, but it's like so smart because we know the Forsaken are not trusting people. They don't work together well. They don't play with others well.
No, I saw a really funny thing. Multiple memes of different things like the books if the Forsaken work together.
Oh yeah, it'd be like half a book.
And it's like half a book.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so, I mean, realistically, this is not gonna be good for Asmodean. So,
no.
Asmo, I started calling him in my notes.
Asmo?
Yeah. Pleads with Lanfear again to tell the others that he is faithful to the great Lord of the Dark. And Lanfear isn't sure for a minute.
Yeah.
And then she's like, nah, I'm going to tell everyone that you went over to lose Theron's side.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
Well, Asmodean has a habit of switching sides and allegiances, but it's also an interesting take where there is that connection to the Dark One that's like a physical thing.
Yeah.
There's a physical connection to the Dark One.
So, do we think that, or do we know that dark friends, like, is it the same thing? No, so
it's
only people who can channel?
This is the thing. Asmodean tells us really soon that is the connection to the Dark One that prevents him from going mad.
Crazy. Yeah, we get
from
that.
the Taint on Sidene.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a very specific, like, Forsaken, this is my connection
so
thing.
Let's talk about the Black Aja.
Yeah.
Because those Aes Sedai don't have to follow their oaths anymore.
But they also don't run the risk of going crazy from channeling.
Oh, so is it only men who have the string and the connection? I don't know. It sounds like the whole, like, string connection, I'm predicting that it's like any channeler, maybe.
Okay, that's good to know. Asmodean seems pretty specific about what that is
about what it is for him.
For him, yeah.
But I think that there has to be some kind of tie to the Dark One for the Black Aja to be able to forsake their oaths, and...
That's good to know. Okay.
That's just sort of... Maybe it's not this specifically.
But something?
But there's something.
Yeah, and then you have to think of, like, what is the degree of dark friendliness? Like, Forsaken is high up on that sliding scale, and then you've got, like, Forsaken, then Black Aja, then, like, the middlemen, and then, like, the peddlers, and then, like, the, lowly people.
Yeah.
But, like, there's the degree, and is everyone treated the same? I'd have to assume no.
And then we got like our Jacob Carradines.
Yeah.
Who's like Murdral or just like murdering his whole family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Sliding scale.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I mean, there might be answers for this kind of thing.
I'm sure. Like book 12. Okay.
You may or may not learn things.
Okay, so then Lanfear is like, all right, I'm going to shield Asmodean, but with enough of a trickle of power left so that he can teach Rand.
Yeah, so this is huge.
Which is like interesting that that's a thing that can happen.
It's interesting and it's huge because she's doing Rand a favor by like going with this whole Asmodean can teach you thing because Lanfear wants him to be powerful.
Yeah,
so
and
she's
wants him to learn and not just like go crazy. And, yeah.
Partial shield on Asmodean so he can channel some, but not enough to actually be a threat to Rand.
Right. Now, my brain immediately, we'll come back to this, but my brain goes to Nynaeve, quote, tying off her shield with Moghedien.
Yeah, and she got out of it.
And she got out of it.
Yes.
So, like, a trickle of power can get through.
Yeah. But this is, again, Lanfear literally saying,
and Lanfear's so good, though. Like, I'm sure she, like, does everything on purpose.
Well, she's Forsaken. She's not Nynaeve just, like, piecing together how a shield works. But, like,
maybe that somehow makes sense for what Nynaeve did.
100%. And Lanfear specifically says Asmodean was never someone who could get out of a shield very well. So she's clearly doing something that is a thing.
Because then because you have to embrace pain.
Yeah.
And Asmodean could never do that.
So like there's something that he's like...
It's painful, but you can do it.
But Asmodean's not going to be able to. So she says it'll buy you a few months. And by that point, in a few months, Asmodean is just basically going to have to stick with you because everyone's going to turn on him because they think that he's gone over to like LTT's side.
Yeah,
so it's like
with you.
It's a devious plot and it works and it's great.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I love Lanfear. I love this plan. This is everything I could have ever hoped and dreamed for.
Well, and this is Lanfear.
I love it.
This is Lanfear also being to Rand, like, how much do you remember? Because your plan itself is also devious, and that's, like, totally LTT.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. So this is where Asmodean is like, no, don't do this to me. Mierin.
Yep.
And that does it for her.
Don't use her
real
name here.
My name is Lanfear, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm Lanfear, bitch. That's like that I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah.
That's what I was like thinking of.
Right out of the face.
Yeah.
But anyways, Lanfear gave up her name and she's Lanfear now.
She's Lanfear. And so she like flings him into the air and holds him there. And then Rand now is super worried that she's about to kill him.
Yeah, it's like, whoa. The plan is to like let him teach me.
Yeah. But Rand, he just called me by my other name I don't like.
Yes.
Don't you know?
Well,
She's a little hot-tempered.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So he uses a tiny trickle of power meant just to separate the two.
Which turns out...
And then he channels a crazy huge lightning wall and destroys more things in Rhuidean.
Yeah, it's like
and separates them.
His tiny bit is like actually gigantic.
Hilarious. And it's so
good.
small. I had to like read it a couple times because I was like, wait a minute. He just said that he's too tired.
Yeah.
He like can't really do anything. He maybe can separate them.
So
and then he's like, bam!
That's huge also, though, because that's speaking to, like, how far Rand has come. And in comparison, like, let's call back to Egwene being like, hey, Rand, you're probably at least as strong as I am.
Oh, Egwene.
I gotta bring it back to that.
Yeah,
but,
I
like,
know.
Rand is on a next level of he's the Dragon Reborn. He is the most powerful.
He is the most powerful, but... he needs to learn how to control this.
He does.
Because he thinks, oh, this is just tiny, right?
It's like,
boom! Blow up a city. Like,
Shoot.
crazy. So, Rand asked Lanfear if she harmed anyone at Al-Kerdal.
Close, real close. Al-Kerdal,
Eh,
the Golden Bowl.
yeah, that place. Or any of the camps. And she's like, no.
Okay, this is so funny. Lanfear says, I don't hurt anybody without cause. And
Yeah.
I just think, well, I have a cause. It's because I hate you. It's like Lanfear telling me you don't do anything bad unless it's like deserved.
Without cause.
You'll make a cause for anything you need.
That's so funny.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And she's like, why? You care about all those hussies back there you love so much?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, I can still use them. And then they have a conversation about how LTT used to not be able to use anyone. Like he's too soft-hearted.
Soft-hearted.
And then this
like
is,
a girl.
And then she's
Lanfear says.
Okay,
Oh man,
Lanfear.
okay.
And like she's so it's
Yeah,
so
like
fun.
what are you comparing it to?
Like you're a girl. Like it's the craziest thing.
Well, she's forsaken. She's a
Oh, so she's not just a girl. Anyway.
No, she's evil.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is where Lanfear gives Rand some parting words. Use Asmodean's teachings well. Others, like Samael, will be very envious of you and your power. Demand Dread, whose name I don't know.
Yeah, you
No,
do.
No. I know I heard it like once or whatever, but like it hasn't been in any conversation.
Okay.
I don't know of this guy. I don't know where he, she, they are. I don't know where they are. But
Demand Dread's a guy.
Okay.
Yep.
Pure hate.
We don't know
for
where he
Rand.
is. Yep.
We don't know where he is. And then we have Ravine, who has a thirst for power, who we know is Gabriel in Caemlyn.
Yeah.
And we know Samael is in Ilion.
Yes.
Okay. So now they will all look to bring Rand down. Asmodean is basically your only hope for this because he happened to be a really good channeler, but like emotionally a little weak.
A little unstable. So, you know, fragile.
Yeah, so this is what you need. And then she opens a doorway to some palace-looking place.
Yes.
And then Rand asks Lanfear, which one were you?
Okay, so this is so good because I gotta imagine with RJ writing this last, he's like, we know that he knows that we know that we're trying to figure out who's who, and he knows that. Mm-hmm. So he could either not do this like paragraph and just let us speculate, or he could be like,
tell us.
This is who everyone was, just in case you weren't 100% sure.
Yeah.
Here are the answers 100%. For you.
100%. So, it's Keely.
It's Keely.
Turns out she didn't like having to pretend to be the ugly one, so she hated the pretty one.
Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah, so she also did some things to Asandre, like
she did.
Framing her for theft.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious in an evil sort of way.
It's evil, yep.
Yeah, so we've got Kadir and Isandre, who are just like regular dark friends.
Yes.
And then we've got Keely and the Gleeman, Jason and Tail, which are the Forsaken.
Yes.
And that's why all those arguments were happening, because the regular Forsaken were...
Okay, I have to say, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm going to say, when I was reading this, I was like, I was right. I knew this. I was right. It's Keely and Natil. And then, no, don't say anything. You want to say something.
I know, but here's the thing. I know the first person who you said was Lanfear. The first person you ever called Lanfear was Keely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the very first person.
But I hadn't met Asandre yet.
No, you
hadn't. Here's the thing. So I did say that.
Okay.
And I know that I've been very wishy-washy, and even in my own mind, I couldn't keep track of my own predictions.
Okay. So you prepared something for it.
I prepared, and I talked about this earlier. So, do you want to read what I titled my notes?
I do. Shifty Business in the Waste.
Yeah, that's what these notes are called. And now I went through all of our episodes.
Okay.
In the chapters where we are in the waste. That's what I did here. So chapter 36, Misdirections, where we meet the peddlers.
Okay.
And now right away I was on guard for Lanfear because of the Lanfear chapter symbol.
Yes, that makes sense.
Now, I said Kadir seems sketchy, and I used the word sus for the first time.
Fair.
And then the melodious voice on a large lady. And I said in my notes, what's Lanfear doing here?
Yeah.
Like, from the beginning.
So the funny part about the whole melodious voice and Nat thinking, oh, the voice doesn't fit the body.
Yes.
That, I think, is totally
doesn't
RJ.
Fit the person, yeah.
Yeah, it's just RJ being like, yo, this person isn't who they say they are.
Yes.
And same with, like, her moving lighter than she should be. Same idea.
Yes. And so I even told you, this is the only prediction. This is Lanfear. You tried to lead me off.
Of course.
And I was like, no, it's Keely. I was adamant. I said it's super strange that a Glee man is with them. I said that Kadir was another Forsaken and the Glee man is dangerous. I was confused and said they're all evil.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're not wrong. They're all evil.
Chapter 37, Imri Stand. This is where I sort of got to know them. I was a little more suspicious of everyone. And I said Lanfear is for sure here, but I can't decide. This is when I went on my wishy-washy, all of them are Lanfear.
Right, okay.
And then I said Kadir might be Lanfear because of his greatness speech.
Right, because he went on the greatness, not glory, though.
Not glory. And then Natil, I was suspicious because he was sharing a wagon with Keely. And so I knew he wasn't Lanfear, but he also wasn't a Glee man.
Which makes sense now that we know that was Lanfear and Asmodean sharing a...
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, chapter 48, an offer refused. I said straight off the bat, Keely is Lanfear. Natil and Keely are playing a part. It's Lanfear and another Forsaken.
Yeah.
I said the peddlers are dark friends on a mission, maybe all working for Lanfear.
Okay, that wasn't right.
No. And then the whole, offer that Kadir has.
The weird one?
The selling information.
Yeah.
I think, now looking back on it, that he was trying to tell Rand that he's working for some Forsaken.
Oh, yeah.
But he wanted Rand's, protection
from the Forsaken.
Oh
yeah, 100%. So when you look back at the offer or refuse, it's Kadir being a regular Darkfriend guy trying to sell intel to the Dragon Reborn about the Forsaken he's working with, but he needs a blanket, I'm gonna be safe so I don't get friggin' murdered by these two Forsaken.
Yes.
Or whatever it may be. So
yeah.
It's like a very...
For sure that's what was going on.
Oh yeah.
And then Natil, I said... for sure pretending to be a Glee man, and that's when I was like, because that's when Natil drops the glory word.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he Lanfear or just a dark friend? And then in that chapter, I also stated Keely is Lanfear.
Yeah. So, hey.
Yeah, and then also in this chapter, there was a big lead up to someone finding someone to teach Rand.
Yes.
In some capacity.
Yeah.
Plus, there was, the Keely being Lanfear, jealous of Rand with other people. That's what he was like. She was, walk by, scorning Rand.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I was Confused City in this chapter and had, no legit theories. Then we got into chapter 49, which is Cold Rock's Hold, and we really didn't talk about the peddlers at all.
Yeah.
Then we have chapter 50, Traps.
Yes.
Which we got the Lanfear symbol again. We had Keely arguing with the Glee man, and I said, they're definitely dark friends arguing, for sure.
Yeah.
And then I said, is Isandre Lanfear, because she didn't really care about the Trolloc attacks. And then this is where I pulled into that other episode where I talked about Ravine being Gabriel, but also possibly working with Lanfear.
Right, okay.
So, it's all a mess.
You said a whole bunch of things. But I gotta say, from the beginning, you did kind of pick out Lanfear, so you at least get 80% marks.
Okay, and then in chapter 54, into the palace with the Mogedian Nynaeve thing, I specifically said Asmodean is working with Lanfear, and in case anyone was keeping track of all that, I 100% said Keely more times than I said Isandre.
That's good.
And
okay.
I said Natil was who she was working with more times than I said Kadir.
All right.
So statistically,
you're right.
I'm right
Okay.
And here's my proof. I did a lot of it, and it actually was quite good homework because it solidified a lot of things and made some more things make sense for me.
That's good,
so
yeah.
I'm hoping it makes some things make sense for other people too.
I'm glad that you're understanding the value of the reread.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So then we got 100% that Isandre and Kadir were dark friends. But, like, maybe scared?
Yeah, just like regulars, and probably Isandre was like a little bit more, argumentative than Kadir was.
And she was, like, attractive when Lanfear's, like, used to being the most beautiful woman in any place ever in the universe.
Yeah.
And then she's portraying somebody
who's not, and then
in
Isandre...
her mind less attractive,
Yeah,
and then Isandre is... Anyway, so it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Lanfear comments now on how different the Aiel are.
Yeah, from what they used to be.
What they used to be, because she's like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, she was there 3,000 years ago.
Well, she had a Deshine Aiel, like, working for her, or whoever, her servant, or whatever it was,
We
right?
got to see that.
And it was Rand's ancestor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy how it works out like that, hey?
Uh-huh. And then she tells Rand to learn quickly and well because she wants them to rule together like yesterday. She says she doesn't want to watch Samael kill him or Grandel add him to her collection of men.
Yeah.
And so that's a new one.
That is.
We haven't heard anything about Grandel yet.
Yes.
So that's a her, and it's somebody who will collect him.
Who likes pretty young men.
Well, and I mean, like, maybe Grendel and Samael, because Samael likes to collect pretty young queens or whatever, right? So that's what Moghedien had said. No, Ravine.
Ravine.
Yeah. Gabriel, Ravine, Samael, Ilian. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Ravine likes queens.
Yes, which is why he has Morgaze.
Right.
And a bunch of other side pieces.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where Lanfear leaves. Rand considers Lanfear's name, Mierin.
Yep.
And he thinks to himself, this is the woman who found the Dark One's prison in the Age of Legends and bore into it. And he thinks, did she know what it was? How did she escape the fiery doom?
Yeah.
Had she given herself to the Dark One even then?
So those are all good questions about like who Mierin was in the Age of Legends, because we got to see that whole...
She's the one who ruined the Age of Legends.
Well, basically drilling in to... But this is the thing. When
she wanted more power.
Well, no. Not specifically.
I thought that's what it was. Okay.
No, so they drilled into the bore because they thought that they had discovered a new power that both men and women could use.
Right.
So they
more power.
Well, but again,
different
power, not specifically for her, but something that both men and women could use together versus having two separate sources of the power.
Okay.
So then they drilled into what we can tell is the bore,
and now it was the Dark One's prison.
It was the Dark One's prison.
Yeah.
And that's when the whole like fire explosion in the sky. We saw Rand's ancestor crying because everything. So how did Mierin escape / live through that?
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of good questions.
Yeah. Okay. So Asmodean now mentions that the cord that was cut was the link that allowed him to not go crazy. And he also says, I'm not a very good teacher, but Rand's like, there's no one else, and now we have to be best buddies forever.
Best buddies, at least for the next little while.
Best buds. So Rand searches through the wreckage a bit and finds what he's looking for, the female stone figure to Angreal, and Asmodean was like, oh, Lanfear was looking for that.
Yeah, and I gotta say, this is my favorite line in the entire chapter, because Rand's like, you know what, she might destroy you, but she's not gonna destroy me. She loves me.
Yeah.
Like, she's got nothing on you, though.
But then he also thinks to himself, it's like being loved by a rabid wolf or something.
You know.
So then Rand notes that the destruction of Rhuidean has also caused water to start spilling out of this like great crack in the earth across the city.
Yep.
And a lake is starting to form.
So you remember Matt and Rand's adventure into Rhuidean when he was like, oh, there's like a lake
There's
down
water
there.
down there.
A lot of water. No time
Yeah.
for that now.
And so this is going to be a lake by a city in a place where water is very scarce and people will come to live in Rhuidean.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, the immediate reconciliation about Avendosora. Because here is where he's like, oh, people are going to have to come and live in this valley because it's like the only place in the waste where there's a lake. And then they would tend to Avendosora, the last Chora tree. Perhaps they would even rebuild Rhuidean. So when he's like, oh, they're going to come and tend to Avendosora, it's not like, oh, it's destroyed forever because I saw it on fire. It's like, it's going to be okay. Rhuidean is going to be rebuilt.
Right, and how would Rand know? Like, he sees the tree on fire. How would he know it's going to be okay?
Well, maybe when he was leaving, it was no longer on fire in the aftermath of everything else. Like, we really don't know, but
No.
it doesn't seem here that Avendosora is, like, doomed and gone forever.
Gotcha. Yeah, I missed that part. But yeah, so now Rand is going to leave. He opens a doorway into the blackness to take them back to the place where everybody is.
Alkirdal?
Yep. And he brings Asmodean with him.
Yeah.
And they don't talk much on the trip, but Rand says, I can't call you Asmodean. And then we get his real name.
Yeah. Jor Adam Nessasin.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, and so they settle on sticking with Jason Natil.
Yeah, same guy.
Gleeman to the Dragon Reborn.
And it works.
Because
Totally works.
it's weird.
Well, totally works.
It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to question Rand anyway, but not to his face. So Rand tells Asmodean that the first thing he'll teach him is how to guard his dreams. And Asmodean nods sullenly.
Yeah, and I mean, that's actually a pretty important thing to do, because that means that no more wise ones are going to be able to spy on him, and no more, like, Forsaken going to be spy on him, so...
It's a big effing deal.
That's a good lesson to learn.
This is a BFD.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's important to know that Asmodean does have the answers and can teach him.
From what
Like,
it seems,
he does have
absolutely.
the knowledge.
Yeah.
So they make it back to Alkirdal.
Yeah.
And Rand steps through the doorway with Asmodean behind him.
Yeah.
And the main crew are all waiting here. Everyone is surprised by his return, and then also surprised by Jason Natil the Gleeman.
It's like, what's the Gleeman doing here with you?
Yeah.
No time for that now.
He's my Gleeman. He sings me songs.
Yeah.
So there's only like a quarter of the Aiel left in this place?
Only a quarter are gone.
Only a quarter are gone.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's
fourth
better.
fewer.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Rand tells one of the maidens to go stop Isandre from being beaten.
Yeah, Adelan, the one who's not dead.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think we actually missed talking about how Lanfear
Oh yeah, planted jewelry.
in her chest.
So that she would be beaten for being a thief.
Right.
So, I mean, deserved, sure, yeah. But I mean...
Yeah. So, Egwene wants to know how he knows about that.
Yeah.
And Moraine wants to know where he's been and how did he get there and how did you come back?
Okay.
And the wise ones are all super pissed off.
Yeah. So this is big too.
Yeah.
Because one of my overarching questions about this entire experience, because we're pretty much at the end.
Yes.
Got a couple more things here.
Yeah.
But Moraine, we get to see her wide dark eyes dart from him to Natal, and her calm Aes Sedai-ness is nowhere in evidence.
Yes.
So Moraine knows that anyone who could teach Rand is long gone, but does she suspect? And that's my big question.
I thought you were going to ask me
suspect?
about this, like, sort of traveling business. So I think she suspects this traveling business.
Well, I mean, traveling business, he literally just appeared out of a doorway out of thin air.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. But does she suspect anything suspicious or bad with the whole, oh, this is just your Gleeman?
Yeah,
really?
I think that anyone who hangs out around Rand, Moraine's not going to love.
Okay.
If it's not her, then she's not okay with it. Like, she's not okay with the wise ones. She wouldn't be okay with just Egwene. Like, I think that...
The reason I ask is because Moraine has legitimately threatened Rand a few times, like, if you go over to the dark side, I'm going to murder you straight up.
Fair.
And if she somehow figures out, like,
This is
Jason
Asmodean?
is a Forsaken,
Yeah.
what does that mean for their relationship?
Yeah, and it's not like there's a lot of open communication where he can confide in her and be like, I cut off his ties to the Dark One.
Yeah. I'm just being taught by him.
Yeah.
I'm not actually on his side.
I feel like she might be okay with it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because she does need him to not go crazy before the last battle.
Yeah.
She needs him to actually learn how to harness this. Like, she keeps saying, you need to learn.
Yes.
So she might be okay with it, but there needs to be some, like, honest
conversation.
Open communication.
So, hey, I captured a Forsaken, and he's
But it can't be in front of everybody where Maureen keeps trying to talk to him.
Totally. Yeah.
So if she can get him alone and they can have a legit conversation and she can tell him what he wants to hear from her,
yeah,
then maybe.
And she hasn't been doing a great job of like being open and honest with him, so.
No. Okay. So Rand wraps the 2 statues.
Yep.
That he's still carrying, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I kind of picture them looking a little bit like Academy Awards.
They're decently big enough to be that.
Like, I literally picture him carrying in his arm 2 Academy Awards. Like Oscars.
Oscar type.
Because it's like the
little person with the whole, with the
sphere.
globe. Oh my god, and that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's what I picture.
And he like wraps him up, and
they're about a foot,
Maureen's watching it, and she doesn't say anything.
Yeah, and he wonders if she has any idea what they are. Maybe.
I mean, she's
I'd
not
say
uneducated.
if she was a Brown, maybe. But
Okay.
like, since she was raised to an Aes Sedai, she hasn't spent very much time in the tower book learning.
True. But I mean,
So-
these little statues are like mini versions of the big guys.
Maybe she has an
So-
idea, but I don't think she has any formal education about them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Maybe.
But she is Kyrianan.
Ooh. Yeah. Fair. But that was like out in the outskirts in the boonies.
Okay.
So,
and she was like royalty style.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So he wants to hide these statues even from himself and compares them to having Kalendor.
Oh, we didn't talk about something.
Oh, how he was like, I could probably even have saved that little girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
He did think that.
No, he couldn't have. No, Rand.
Okay.
Bad. Okay, so Rand asks what happened here. And Ruark says that the Shido have gone behind Savannah and Couladin, and all who remain acknowledge Rand as the Dawn guy.
Yes.
Kara
Karn.
Some of all the clans fled as well.
Like some of the people of all
Some
the
of
clans.
the people, like, took off because it was, like, too much for them.
Yep.
But not with the Shido.
Yeah, so they didn't just, like, go with the Shido. They just
like,
left. Yeah.
And so they will spread what happened here. And Rand revealed about their history. They'll spread that around. And some men threw away their spears and just, like, ran.
Which is, like, crazy, not Aiel-like at all. But
yeah, the issue is that whole thing he said. Now, everybody taking that so crazy without having, like, actually experienced it themselves.
Yeah.
I don't buy that they're like, oh my god, I can't believe we used to be the way of the leap. And then, like, abandon their way of life and go crazy.
Yeah.
Because Rand said a sentence. Someone who they don't know was like, Aiel used to follow the way of the leap. Instead of being like, what? You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
they
no, I get that.
Experience the entire thing.
Yeah, where they couldn't accept it, then they, like, ate their own eyeballs out of their
Whatever.
faces or something, so.
No, chewed off their tongues and ripped their eyeballs
out. You know, that whole deal.
Anyway, so that part's like, you know, is what it is, but...
Okay. So I guess the big question is, like, what are the repercussions? Because we got a few factions going on here. We've got the faction
None of the Tardad left, though.
That's true. And I mean,
That's
Rand
big.
is of the Tardad, like his daddy.
Yeah, and they're ready to go where Rand leads.
Yeah, so like that
that's
kind of
good.
makes sense. They got strong leadership, and they're all here, and they all journeyed, and they got Ruark and all that stuff. But it's like, we've got the faction of people who are behind Rand, 100%. He's Karakar, and he's the guy. We've got the faction of Couladin and Savannah going off with the Shido to probably pursue this whole, like, Couladin's the Karakar thing. And then we've got, like, the random scatterings of people who've left. Some have, like, dropped their spears. Some just, like, ran off. You know, not really sure where they're going to be placed yet. But what does this really mean for the future of the Aiel? And that's kind of like the big questions.
Yeah, so back to the prophecy. He will bind you together and destroy you. And I think that that's exactly what's going to happen here. We only know that, like, a fraction of a fraction is going to survive, and it's going to be the ones who accept him and follow him.
Okay, yeah.
Because the other ones, like, the rules of the Aiel, the custom, all that stuff, for the most part, is done.
Okay.
I think. And anyone who tries to continue living by that is going to eventually just, like, die out, or they're all just going to fight and kill each other, and there's going to be no real order because it's such a mess right now.
Okay.
Because they've all always had the same belief system.
And now that's fractured.
And now the belief system itself is fractured, and it's almost like this, like, religious war, almost. Because, like, what they believe in is different.
Okay.
And so the ones who believe in Rand and everything, like, they're the ones who are going to be brought, like, out of the threefold land, and they're going to survive. I don't know. I actually, now that I'm talking, I'm just, it's been a lot tonight. So
It is, yeah.
I think we're going to have to do a specific bonus episode on everything about, like, the Aiel.
Okay.
Because, like,
we're going to have to break that down, how it's going to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. All right. So Rand thinks about how he's going to bind them together. He's going to destroy them. But he also thinks that the Aiel are only a means to an end.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough thing for him to get past, because that was also the Wise One's issue of, like, we're not just people to be used.
Yeah.
You have to learn who we are as a people.
Right. Yeah. And so he thinks it's going to be a long and bloody road back to wherever.
Yeah, whatever
he's
they're doing.
Take them. And Egwene stretches a hand out to him and he ignores it.
Well, she's Aes Sedai now.
Aww.
Yeah.
And then Rand says when the rest of the clan chiefs arrive, it begins, and who knows where and how it ends.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just going to make some camp.
Yeah,
and wait there for a little bit.
Play a winning game, see if the other Aiel show up or when they do show up. Because, I mean, we are a little bit... And we're moving into book 5 now, so we don't know if there's going to be a time lapse to move into book 5.
Yeah.
If it's like, okay, jump forward a month, and then, you know, all
Probably.
the clan chiefs are here.
Yeah.
So how is this actually going to look?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have a bit of a breaking in the threefold land. Like, we have a fracture in the Aiel culture.
Definitely.
And this is pretty big.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and then we have an end of book passage from some chief historian.
Yeah, from the Fourth Age. And it really is just like a callback to what is happening with the Aiel from what it sounds
Do you
like.
want to read it to end us off?
Sure. And when the blood was sprinkled on ground where nothing could grow, the children of the dragon did spring up, the people of the dragon armed to dance with death. And he did call them forth from the wasted lands, and they did shake the world with battle.
Whoa.
So, battle. Yeah. There's going to
Yeah.
be fighting. It's going to happen.
I believe it. Yep. And then the end, the 4th book of The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
So, hey.
Cool. So let me tell you, at the end of The Dragon Reborn, I predicted that was going to be the last time we had a nice put together end wrap up where everyone's in the same place, and then we get a Moraine Explain chapter and whatever.
Yeah.
So obviously right.
Yes.
Here. And let me tell you, did I like how this book ended? No.
Really? Okay.
I loved it.
Oh my god, I can't believe I fell for that. Okay.
Yeah, you did.
That was the worst.
I loved this. I loved this book. This was so good. This ending just like solidified how good this book was for me. And yeah, it was great. And I loved how like Nynaeve and Egwene were super strong and powerful at the end. It wasn't just Rand facing, like it's not just Rand.
Yeah, everyone faced their individual challenges. I mean, we've got different storylines to pursue here. We've got the girls in Tanchico. We've got Perrin and Fael in Emmons Field.
And like apparently like Luke of in the Blight.
Oh, very much so.
Like going and doing stuff. And
yeah.
I don't believe he's dead.
We've got Thane headed towards Camelin / the White Tower.
Yeah.
We've got Rand and Matt and the whole crew in
Where
like the
are they
Waste.
gonna go next?
What
and
happens
then,
next?
On top of everything else, I love that the storyline of the White Tower didn't get wrapped up.
Yeah, there's definite questions
like, where's
here.
Min and Swan and Logain?
And where's Galad? Come on.
Oh yeah, that I don't care about so much.
The most important person.
I don't care about that at all.
Oh my god.
I care about the Logain like funny little
like the foursome.
Foursome that they got going. Oh, I wanted to see about that. So with this book ending on some cliffhangers, I'm excited about that. This was great. This was an excellent ending. And I'm really excited because we're going to get to be on the Dusty Wheel, Matt Hatch's YouTube channel, where we're going to talk about my predictions and our journey through the Shadow Rising.
Yeah, all things TSR.
Yes, so that's going to happen. Watch out for that coming soon, because that'll be a nice wrap up for this book, I think, heading into Fires of Heaven.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm so excited. I need to wrap my head around and calm down a little bit from this, and then we can move into it. That's it. That's the end of season 4.
Yeah, and Fires of Heaven coming up next.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be great. I think it's going to be really good. So before you sever Forsaken's tie to the Dark One, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
On season 4.
Yeah, it's done.
Whoa. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Danny and Brett, edited by Danny, produced by Danny and Brett with Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Vince Look, Michelle O'Brien, Sarah Wyatt, Jamie Young, Cody Feltz, Giannis, and Megan Smiley. With music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in some of our Wheel Weaves merchandise, such as shot glasses, frosty mugs, t-shirts, hats, and more, you can head over to newcreationsbyjen.com, and we are located in the groups or collections section. If you're interested in supporting us and helping us to make really great content, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast, and you'll also get access to some really great bonus content like early access to our regular episodes, bonus episodes, unedited video episodes, access to our live recordings, monthly Q&As, and more like stickers and keychains. Don't forget to find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We'd also love for you to join the conversation over at our Discord, and you can find the link to that in our bios on those social medias. We'd love for you to tell a friend about us. Referrals really are the best compliment. We'd love for you to leave a review and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference. Thanks so much again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.